Just for the record, Mr. Taylor, you also go by the name of the Apostle?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to start by going over the records pursuant to the subpoena that we received and to clarify that we have what we've asked for. Thank you. I would state for the record that we have acknowledged that due to the time constraints and that we just received some of the documents that were kind of later than we expected, that we're going to have to continue this deposition, and everyone's agreed on a date of January 9th, 2015 at 10 a.m. Is that
Agreed.
correct, Mr. Cavalier, Mr. Jenkins?
Correct.
And Mr. Utum, whether you're here or not. I have prepared an order, my secretary has, regarding the deposition and the continuing jurisdiction of the court, and I would just ask the attorneys to sign it. It's the same format as before. Mhm. And Mr. Taylor, you've stated that you are not in Michigan in November and December.
No. No.
Is that correct?
Yes.
You have to speak a little louder.
Yes.
All right, so you're not in Michigan in November or December of 2014.
No.
That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so you're saying you're not available for the deposition to be continued in either November or December?
No.
I think the answer is supposed to be yes. Can we kind of...
Oh,
I think it's getting confused.
you're
To
saying...
be clear, you have no availability in November or
Right.
December
Exactly.
to continue this job.
No, I do not.
And the
That's
first,
what
and the first available date is January 9th, 2015.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Okay, and that you're not going to be in Michigan November or December?
No, not that I'm scheduled to be.
Does that mean that you may possibly be?
No.
Well, object. Anything's possible. His schedule
Well-
reflects that his first available date is January 9th, and that's what
I'm-
we've agreed
I'm-
to.
Yes.
Focusing on being in Detroit or Redford or in Michigan during December and November, and you're saying you're not going to be.
Well, like I told you, one night with the king is
Right.
just one day, and I'm out. So.
That's
In
December
December.
31st,
Mhm.
and is that in
That's-
Michigan?
Yes.
All right, I just want to go over the subpoena duces tecum so I can make sure that we have all the documents. And the first one is all records showing Mrs. Deborah Frazier's donations to Joshua Media Ministries International, JMMI, and or any of its affiliates in 2012, 13, and 14, including but not limited to bank statements, money market accounts, certificates of deposit, etc. And I would note that may I ask you to identify this and tell me if that's what you're saying is in satisfaction of number one under the subpoena duces tecum?
You're asking me to identify a JMMI document? Why don't you ask?
You produced it to me in compliance with the subpoena. I'm just asking you to tell me if that's what you're suggesting is in compliance with number one under the subpoena.
Okay, this is in partial compliance. In
Okay.
addition to this, the 990s reflect
Hold
any
on.
contributions for 2012 and 13. 14s are not available.
Hold,
In
please.
addition, there's a ledger that was
Please hold. I'm trying to pull the documents and have them identified. Do you have? All right. So in compliance with the first issue and our itemization on the subpoena duces tecum, we have the 990s. And I'm sorry, what did you say?
the internal summary. And would this reflect income, deposits? And the ledger, that's 133 pages. I also provided the ledger to you on disk for your convenience.
The ledger starts in July of 2013.
Yeah, it's not.
2012.
I just we have the ledger starting in July of 2013, so we're missing a year and a half.
Should all be there.
Well, if it's not on the disc, I'll agree to provide it.
Can you tell by looking at what you have if it's there? By the dates?
This appears to begin July 1st, 2013 and conclude November of 14.
All right, so you agree that it would appear that we're missing July 2000, we're missing 2012 and up until July 2013? June 30th, I'm sorry.
Yes, and if it's not on the disc, I'll be sure to provide those additional dates.
Okay, can I have you tell me, a date by which I can have that so it's in advance of the next deposition?
Within 30 days in advance of that deposition. This is ours.
It asked for bank statements, money market accounts, etc. In this one document that you provided to me, that what you referred to, I think, is the internal summary, just shows that Deborah Frazier gave $1,149,770, but there are no bank statements that show into what account this went or where those funds were deposited. And we had asked for...
There are no specific bank statements that would indicate that that was a deposit coming from Deborah Frazier. Any deposit would be a all-encompassing deposit. So if there were 5 checks received on any given day,
All right, but you obviously can tell me which bank statement includes her. So
your witness is here to
Pardon me?
testify. Your
Well-
witness is here to testify.
right, I'm asking about the subpoenaed information. I'm not asking him questions. And also, some of them were wire transfers. So they would go directly into some bank account, and we've asked for the bank statements that reference these funds that were transferred.
Okay. It's my understanding from pastor's assistant that there's no bank statement that would identify specifically that the deposit was a deposit from Deborah Frazier.
I believe that his own documents will show wire transfers. Wire transfers.
Why don't you proceed with question and answer? And
No,
if that's
no.
the case,
That's
okay,
not.
I'm not here to testify. If those documents
Sir,
exist,
are you giving me documents in satisfaction of the subpoena duces tecum?
I'm giving documents produced by JMMI in response to the subpoena duces tecum that are responsive to your requests.
So how is it that you've responded to this request if you provided me no bank statements when we know that there are wire transfers?
Because no bank statement, I'm told by another representative of JMMI, would reflect that it's a direct deposit from Deborah Frazier.
A wire deposit? Wire transfer? You don't think a bank statement would show a direct wire transfer?
Okay, I'm
from
not
one
here to
person?
testify. You can ask this witness questions. If you think there's more information available, then
All right, well, let me
you and
ask
I
it
can
this
discuss
way.
it off the record.
Let's ask it this way. Do you agree to provide any bank statements that would reference...
Ask the
Sir, I'm asking you.
deponent.
No. I'm asking you.
I'm not answering the question. You ask the witness.
Let me finish my question. Do you agree, pursuant to the subpoena, as his attorney, to provide me with bank statements that would show any and all wire transfers from Deborah Frazier to JMMI or David Taylor, the Apostle?
If they exist, yes. But I don't know that they exist.
All right, I understand, but bank statements regarding wire transfers. And I understand that a deposit would be generic and not list on the bank statement who compiled that sum.
Counsel will look into wire transfers. I didn't make that specific inquiry because that
That's not what I'm asking.
Wasn't
I've moved
specifically
on.
asked for.
I've moved on. I'm asking, I want bank statements that show whenever Mrs. Frazier's check was deposited, even if it was among other checks. But if you can point to this bank statement and say Mrs. Frazier's money was deposited on this day with or without other people, I want those bank statements. Do you have any objection to that?
If they exist, I'll provide them.
Well, you would acknowledge that if it was deposited, there'd be some statement, right? There'd be something that would show that.
Most likely.
Okay. Okay, number 2, all records showing how Mrs. Deborah Frazier's donations to Joshua Media Ministries International, JMMI, and or any of its affiliates were spent in 2012, 13, and 14, including but not limited to canceled checks, invoices, check registers, bank statements, etc. In compliance with that request, what is it you say you're submitting?
I am not going to proceed this way. You have a deponent. You ask him questions. He's produced these documents. He can
You
answer.
handed them to me.
He can answer.
So I just want you to
JMMI
tell.
handed them to me, and I handed them to you. We're
You
gonna
represent JMMI.
I
You are the
understand.
attorney of record, and I'm asking you, in satisfaction of the subpoena, what documents are you saying
Okay.
reference number 2?
the ledger.
The ledger shows. Where's the ledger? You're saying that the ledger you gave me somehow shows how her donations were used? Is that what you're saying? Because you said that was in compliance
I'm
with
not
number 1.
testifying to anything. You have a witness here who can testify what the ledger will reflect, whether it will reflect income and outgo.
It's pretty standard procedure in the beginning of a deposition to go over with the documents in compliance with the subpoena duces tecum and to ask if you're submitting those in compliance with the various itemizations. That's
Yes.
all I'm asking. I'm not
Yes.
asking you to testify.
Yes.
So you're saying that the ledger in and of itself will show how money was spent that Mrs. Frazier gave to Pastor Taylor.
Is that a yes? The ledger
No.
will reflect.
No, because we get money from a lot of other sources. So her money wasn't necessarily used in that, what she's trying to refer to, so that I
Okay,
can't
so this is
answer.
why you need to ask the
need to
specific
ask
questions of the deponent.
Yes.
Where's our... Sorry, I don't... All right, I will ask the apostle about that because the document that I have shows it broken down to various ministries as to where it was going. So we've asked how it is and what shows that the funds were used pursuant to that designation. And I don't think the ledger shows any of that. So I don't think you've given me anything in satisfaction of itemization number 2. Number 3, any and all correspondence, communication to or from Joshua Media Ministries International, JMMI, and or David E. Taylor with Mrs. Deborah Frazier in 2012, 13, and 14, including but not limited to emails, letters, solicitation requests, etc. I didn't see anything that referenced that.
I have none in my possession. You can ask the deponent.
So is it your position they don't exist?
I don't have any in my possession. You can ask the deponent.
Board of Directors minutes for Joshua Media Ministries International, JMMI, for 12, 13, and 14. That's item number 4. We didn't get anything in that regard.
I don't have any in my possession. You can ask the deponent about the existence of those records.
Number 5, application and any supporting documents for tax exempt status for Joshua Media Ministries, JMMI.
We got no application.
What you've been provided is an IRS letter with an EIN indicating its tax exempt status.
We need his application. Application and any supporting documents.
Okay, you have the supporting documents.
I don't have an application.
I don't have the application either.
Does your client?
You'd have
You
to
can
him.
ask your client. Does he have it?
Who's going to object to form?
Go ahead and object, but
Because
does
the
he have
proper,
it?
under the court rules, the proper thing is to question the deponent. I haven't seen where attorneys need cross-examine, so I'm going to place that objection
Go-
on the record.
that's
Under
great.
the Michigan court rules, on the Michigan rules of evidence.
I'm asking what you're submitting in compliance with the subpoena. Are you saying
Ms.
you
Romaine,
don't
I have
have?
given you a
Do you not
letter
have-
dated January, I'll answer the question, January 16th, 2013. That's what I have in my possession that is responsive to your request.
All right, and you understand there's a court order that said he had to comply with the balance of the request in here. Okay, and you don't have that.
You can ask the deponent if any of the additional records exist.
Do you have the articles of incorporation?
You have been provided a copy of the bylaws and articles of Joshua Media Ministries International. It's a 3-page document.
We just have the bylaws, not the article.
The bylaws and articles are one and the same.
I don't.
You can question the deponent with regard to that document.
Yeah, this says bylaws of Joshua Media Ministries. It does not say,
And then it goes on to say Article 1,
that's
Article
not,
2, Article 3.
that's not articles of incorporation.
You can question the deponent with regard to this document.
Number 7, financial statements, records of all income and expenses for JMMI Media Ministries for 12, 13, and 14.
We got a financial statement for 2014 and 2012, nothing for 2013.
We don't have 2013. Is that something you... have with you, or?
I don't have it with me. I've given you
Well,
everything
no, I'm
that
just
I
saying,
have
you've
with
given me a pack. Do you
Okay.
have it, and I didn't manage to
No,
get it?
I don't have
So
it
you
with
don't
me.
have it. A list of all assets and liabilities of JMMI?
You have what I have.
I don't know that, and I'm trying to make sure that what you think you gave me, you actually did. So, do you think you gave me something called list of assets and liabilities?
You have a balance sheet.
So we're back in 2013.
You have a balance sheet. It's 2 pages.
But not for 13, right?
It's as of November 11th, 2014.
But you don't
It's the only balance sheet that we have.
have anything for 2013.
I don't have anything other
Okay.
than the balance sheet that I provided to you.
All I'm trying to make sure
Ms.
is...
Romaine, I am not
do not interrupt me,
JMMI.
please. Do not interrupt me, please. All I'm trying to make sure that is in this pack of information that you think you handed me, that I actually got what you think, because I don't know. There's all these things, and if you perhaps have something that you didn't hand to me.
Can I
It was a
answer?
little mishmash on how this was happening. It was
Okay.
being emailed from your office.
Could I answer?
Sure. If you don't have 13, that's what you're saying?
What I'm telling you is I have one balance sheet as of November 11th, 2014, and I provided it to you. If you have questions further than that, you have a deponent here.
Federal tax returns for JMMI Ministries for 12, 13.
We have unsigned copies.
I'm just going to place an objection as to your client speaking in the deposition.
He's
The court
talking
rules-
to me.
Well, the court rules, he's participating in the deposition on the record. The court rules do not allow they allow parties to attend. They do not allow parties to speak during a deposition. If he wants to sit and watch, he can sit and watch.
He can
But
talk
it's not
to his lawyer.
It's not appropriate for the client
He
to
can
be talking.
speak to his lawyer anytime he wants, and that's what he's doing. He's not testifying, he's not sworn in, he's talking to me.
It's
and
the
that's
lawyer's
allowed.
job to do the deposition, not the client's.
He's not asking questions. Tax returns for 12 and 13, we have unsigned copies. Do you have any problem with providing signed copies?
Do they exist?
Sure, I'm not sure.
Why don't we ask the
Sure.
deponent? To the extent that they exist, I'll provide you a copy of the signed tax returns. These are the tax returns, and you can ask the deponent these questions that were filed with the IRS.
And federal income tax returns for 12 and 13 for David E. Taylor.
Okay.
We don't have- what do you need? Oh, we don't have his tax returns for
The
12 and
deponent
13.
is here to tell you of the existence of the preparation of his personal tax returns. You can ask the deponent those questions.
List any and all donors by name, address, and telephone number who have contributed more than $2,000 in 12, 13, and 14 to Joshua Media Ministries International, JMMI.
You have been provided a donor list.
Yep. Our list is for 5,000 and over, and the court order said it was
The
to be provided.
990s include the 5,000 and over.
right. But the order said I was allowed to look at those for less than $5,000 also of the donor
Well,
list.
I'm looking at the donor list, and it's $2,000 and over.
They aren't noted by year. Just,
So now you're objecting to the format of the
I
document.
have
that
not
you requested.
objected to anything. I'm just saying, do you have a document that says what year? Because we asked the question in increments of years.
I've provided what you've asked for.
And the W-2 for 2012 is missing. Do you believe you gave that to me, or is that accurate that I don't
No,
have
I
it?
only received the 2013.
Mr. Taylor, you heard us discuss the subpoena duces tecum and the items that were requested to be produced?
Just now, yes.
Okay. And you understand there's a court order that indicates that you have to produce these items?
Yes.
Okay. For item number 2, where we're asking for, I'm sorry, let's go back to item number 1, where we're asking for bank statements. Would you agree that when somebody does a direct wire transfer from their account to another account, that there would be a bank statement that would reflect that for the receiving party?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can you produce, consistent with the subpoena, the bank statements which show Deborah Frazier's wire transfers?
Yes, of course.
And do you want to tell me, is that still the 30-day?
Yeah, we'll produce them within 30 days prior to the January 9th date if the documents exist.
He's indicated they do. So you have bank statements that show wire transfers if they were given from Deborah Frazier's account?
Yes.
Okay. And I understand that on bank statements, it may not show only Deborah Frazier's deposit being made, but you obviously have bank statements that show various deposits that are made that would include Deborah Frazier's.
Yeah, well, yeah, if she wired it.
I'm not talking about wired one.
Okay, yeah, she gave her a check or
Right.
cash. All of that's recorded, and it's all itemized. Yes.
All right, so
individually.
you would be able to tell me in what deposit those checks went into?
Of course,
And you
yes.
could provide me the bank statements?
Of course, yes. If that's appropriate, yes.
Well, that's what's been requested
Okay.
in order.
That's fine. Yeah.
And all records showing how Mrs. Frazier's donations, this is item number 2, how they were spent, including canceled checks, invoices, etc. Now, when she makes donations, she has designated for what purpose. For example, Rosh Hashanah. What would Rosh Hashanah be?
It's a Jewish holiday that we, as Christians, observe. You know, on the Jewish calendar, it's a quite celebrated holiday in the Christian community. In some circles, large circles, but not everyone does it.
So when Mrs. Frazier made donations that were designated as Rosh Hashanah, my subpoena duces tecum asks for canceled checks, invoices, check registers, bank statements, etc., that would back up those donations being spent for that purpose.
Yeah, that Rosh Hashanah is not so much a statement for the purpose of the money being used. It's a holiday, and it's designating when she gave an offering, like everyone else.
So it didn't go for the purpose of Rosh Hashanah in any way?
Well, Rosh Hashanah is not, it's a holiday. It's a service called Rosh Hashanah. It's
Right.
no, like when I, take up an offering for a specific thing, then, like if I say we want to raise offering for an 18-wheeler truck, then, and I say we're going to use this money for that, then it goes directly to that. This is a service, such like a Sunday morning service or Easter service. And you don't purposeful, when the people give donations, you don't say where it goes to the Easter egg. Do you understand what I'm saying? The Rosh Hashanah is the name of a Jewish holiday.
No, I'm
and
aware
not
of that.
Okay, great.
How long do you think Rosh Hashanah lasts? How many days?
10 days normally.
Now, one of her donations is listed as a money order.
Mm-hmm.
And would you have deposited that into the general fund?
Yeah, I'm sure it would go there.
All right, and you can produce a bank statement that would correlate with that deposit.
We have everything on record.
Okay. When she talks about a leadership conference in Taylor, what would that money be related to?
Well, there are different services that I held, and we have people who attend those services and they give in those services. So when you see leadership is designating the type of service we're having, do that make sense?
So you have a specific service called a leadership conference?
Yes, where I teach leaders.
And do people have to pay to go into that service?
No, everything is free. They donate freely in the offering.
Now, is there a reason you didn't bring the documentation that backs this up because you say it exists?
It's not a reason we didn't. I just think that maybe my office didn't quite understand everything that was asked for in detail like you're asking. But it's no problem. We can provide that.
All right, when you say your office,
Yes.
where would that be?
I have an office here in Taylor, Michigan.
And what's that address?
2320. What is that? Superior Road.
What are the numbers?
I'm saying 320. 20320.
Wait a minute. Say it
Superior
again.
Road, 20320.
Okay, 5 digits.
Yeah.
Okay, Superior,
Road,
and that's Taylor.
Michigan.
Is this designated as an office on the outside of the building?
I'm sorry, what are you saying now?
When you look at this 20320 Superior Road in Taylor, what does the outside of the building look like? Does it say JMMI? What does it say?
Yeah, it says JMMI.
JMMI? And do you take up the entire building
For what now?
for JMMI, for your office?
We don't have to use the entire building for office facilities. We just use part of it,
What's the rest of the building used for?
having services.
Is this the church in Taylor that you go to?
I don't understand what you're asking. Can you rephrase?
Isn't there a church that you give services out of in Taylor?
Oh yeah, on Sunday. But yeah,
Is that this same building?
we let them use the building on Sunday morning.
Okay, when you say we let them, who's we and who's them?
JMMI owns the building, and there's a church called Kingdom Family Church that they are just getting started, so they don't have a large overhead or nothing like that. We allow them to use the building on Sunday, since I use the building more so for massive conferences and services, things like that.
When did JMMI purchase this building?
I think that was in maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, a little over 2 years ago.
Does it have a mortgage?
No, it's paid off.
So did these was it Kingdom Family?
KFC, Kingdom Family Church.
Did then they pay rent?
Not really, no.
Okay, let me place an objection on the record. I've given a lot of latitude so far in this very brief deposition, but the objection is to relevance.
Yeah.
I don't know how this possibly relates to
The
the
objection's
issues
noted.
of parenting time and or spousal support.
There's more to it than that.
Okay, you can go ahead and answer the question.
So when you say your office, are you referring exclusively to this 20320 Superior Road building?
Yes.
You do not have an office in any other city or state?
Yes, we do.
Okay, do you want to tell me about those?
And we're getting those more established. One in St. Louis, another in Budapest, Hungary, Europe, Korea, Arizona. So,
You have offices in those 4 places?
yes.
All right, may I have the address of the St. Louis office?
We usually use a P.O. box for that.
I want the actual street address.
Well, we are just getting things established there for us before we get a building. So I usually use my P.O. box as an address for that. So to say that we have just offices in a public building, I usually use my Taylor residence for the professional address.
All right, so wait a sec. The Taylor residence?
Taylor building, Taylor office facilities. Yeah.
All right, you used it you referred to it as a Taylor residence. Do you own a home?
No, I'm sorry. I mean Taylor building on Superior.
Okay.
It's in a corporate area, so it's a office building. It's not a residence. Sorry.
Okay. But it's also used as a church by some people, at least?
Yes, we allow churches to use.
Okay. So the office is, are you saying there is no physical place in St. Louis that your ministry operates out of?
No, a building physically. I used to have one, but not now. I moved all of my physical, you know, I want to say resident. What word should I use? I moved all my physical place here in Taylor.
So there's nothing in St. Louis anymore.
A P.O. box.
Well, that's not a
Well, our
destination.
mail go there. That's huge. It's massive. You know, it's huge. You know.
So when you say that's huge and massive, are you referring to the amount of mail you get there?
Well, mail. I mean, corresponding with people is very important to us. So that's big to us.
But you don't have any place in St. Louis that you work out of or anybody else works out of?
We may work out of our little home or whatever with a computer. Or
What do you mean your little home? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, you know, like if I have a staff person, until we raise enough money to buy another office facility in that area, then, you know, we do it out of, you know, my staff that is there, they do it out of the place they may live. So that's
They
why
do
I'm
it out,
saying,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Do it out of
Yeah.
the place that,
yeah, their little office that they have in the place they stay in at this time.
do you
So
mean
that's what
somebody
I'm
could
telling
be
you.
working technically, in your opinion, out of their home?
Like you do out of yours, right?
No.
I mean, you have
I
a
have an
computer.
office.
Yeah, I know, but you have a computer at your home, and you have an office. I have an office too. It's here. So I'm saying I travel. I'm mobile. I live in St. Louis, so there are things that have to be done there. So we take laptops. I'm sure you got a laptop, right? Yeah.
This isn't about me.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to.
Well,
give you an
I'm trying to
understanding.
figure out
Yes.
where was the building that you say you no longer have? What was that address?
That was in St. Louis on Patterson. I can't remember the address.
You don't know the address of the building that
Oh,
you
yeah,
own?
it's been years ago.
You said it was just a couple years ago.
No, I didn't say couple. I said years ago.
How many years ago did you cease owning this building?
I didn't own it. It was a rental property.
It was a rental property in St. Louis?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of that property?
Office facilities.
And how big was it?
Objection to relevance.
Okay.
You can answer the question, but I'm going to place a standing objection on the
That's
record.
fine.
It was probably about 3,000 square feet, just for office facilities. Yeah.
And you paid rent to somebody? Who did you pay it to?
I don't remember the guy's name who owned it.
Okay, but you don't have any physical facility that you operate out of
I
in
don't
St.
have a
Louis?
building there. My building, like I said, I moved my offices here.
No, I understand. But
Okay.
aside from an office, anything else, even
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
No,
We
let me
moved-
just finish so we're real clear what I'm asking.
Okay.
Anything even other than an office.
I've shared with you that
Let
they
me
may do
let me
it.
finish so you
Okay.
can understand.
Okay.
I'm not talking about people that work out of their home.
Yes.
I'm talking about any other building or facility that you or your ministry works out of in St. Louis.
Yes. I have staff who work out of a home that they
No, I understand that.
may
I'm asking
live in.
about something else.
I'm just saying I don't have what you're asking. I don't have a physical building there like that. It's up here in Taylor. This is where our professional offices are.
Where's the residential center that is on your asset and liability sheet?
Oh, it's in St. Louis.
Okay.
But that's not an office.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I asked a few times, it doesn't have to be an office. Any facility, building, structure that you work out of, office or otherwise.
Okay.
So there is a residential center.
Oh, yes, of course. You should have said that earlier. I didn't know
No,
what
you should have answered earlier.
No, you didn't.
Residential
You didn't
center.
explain enough.
Residential center is in St. Louis.
Be direct and specific so I can answer your question.
Sir, that's why I was suggesting you not interrupt me so that I could finish the sentence and you'd be real clear what we were asking.
Okay.
So a residential center does exist in St. Louis?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay.
But that's not an office.
It doesn't have to be an office.
Okay. I
Any-
thought you was talking about a professional location like this.
No,
We have that in Taylor. Okay.
I did not limit my question to an office.
Okay, so yeah, be more specific so I can know what you're saying.
I believe I was. All right, so
Not
what is
really.
this residential center?
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that. Yeah, we don't
So are
own
you
it yet.
renting to buy, or are you?
Yeah, we're leasing to buy.
You have that as an asset of 2,844,500. So do you own it?
I just answered that, didn't I? I said we didn't own it.
Okay,
We are
but where
leasing to
where
buy
does
it.
the? I'm sorry.
We're leasing to buy it. Did you? I thought we just said that.
All right, but
Yeah.
you have listed it as an asset worth $2,844,000.
Oh, that should be more of a liability. Yeah.
Would you like to take a look at the
Oh, okay. Yeah.
document? Get the liability on page 2.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. What we have already paid compared to what it's worth. Is that what you're saying? What it,
You
because
listed it.
it's not paid off. Like
All right, so where does the number 2,844,000 come from on your
that's the
asset and liability?
That's, I guess, the appraisal value of the home or the residential center.
Is it a home?
No, it's a residential center. We use it.
All right,
For
so you're saying it's not something you own, but you have it listed as an asset of $2.8 million.
That's probably a mistake. Like I say, it probably should be a liability. Yeah, that should be a liability. I think that was an error there.
Who prepares this?
Um,
This document
I-
called balance sheet.
I don't know. I don't know which one of them. I have 3 people in the office that could do this. So I don't know which one.
Who would those
actually.
3 people be?
Michelle, Ashley.
Or what's Michelle? Is it just Michelle?
Probably yes.
And her
I think
last
so.
name?
Brannon.
Brannon.
Yes.
Okay, and the next person?
Ashley Ware.
How do you spell Ashley?
Ashley.
And how do you spell where?
Ware. Okay.
And the next one?
Brashearer. I really don't know how to spell that one. Brashearer.
Is it a man or woman?
It's a lady.
Bashira?
Yeah.
And her last name?
You know, I'm trying to pronounce that. Hargus.
Can you just spell it?
Haque, something like that. Yeah.
Are these all employees?
No, they are volunteer workers. One is employee,
Who's the employee?
Michelle.
And these 2 people are volunteers?
Yes.
Do you have an accountant that does any kind of accounting work for you?
We have a private firm, yes.
And who is that?
Davis and Associates.
Davidson?
Davis and Associates.
Davis and Associates? And where are they located?
In St. Louis.
So you don't know who prepared this balance sheet?
Like I say, it could have been one of those 3. I don't want to tell you a story. I can't tell you exactly.
I don't
who
want
did
you
it.
to tell me anything you can't
Yeah,
verify.
so I don't
But
know.
your accountant did not.
Now, what are you asking? Are you asking if the accountant did the balancings, or did someone provide these sheets to you? What are you saying? What are you saying?
In terms of who prepared this document about assets and liabilities, would your accountant have prepared this?
I don't think my accountant did that. I think that the internal office tried to answer your questions, and they pulled information from maybe documents that my professional firm did and tried to give you what you needed.
So were these documents created for the purpose of this deposition, or did they exist before?
Oh, they exist before. We have everything documented. Everything. Every penny.
But you acknowledge that you believe this $2.8 million is an error.
It has to be, because the residential center is not paid off. So it couldn't be an asset, right? It's a liability. think that's how the banks would show it, right? You would know that, right?
I don't answer questions. This is one way I
Okay,
ask
I'm just
you.
saying, I'm
Okay.
trying to get understanding.
All right, so tell me the residential center. Did we get an address for that? Hmm? I need an address for the residential center.
Yeah, 24,000 Timpage.
What is it?
Timpage, T-I-M-P-A-I-G-E.
Timpage. That's the name of the street?
Yes, Timpage.
That's right, Timpage?
Timpage, yeah.
Avenue, road, anything?
I think it's road, probably.
And that is in St. Louis?
Yes, Chesterfield, Missouri.
So you're renting with an option to buy?
Yes,
And who is the owner then?
the ministry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The ministry is renting with the option to buy. The owner is Harold Lewis.
Okay, and what goes on at the residential center?
Well, I mean, it's
Objection to form of the question. What are you trying to ask?
yeah.
What is its purpose? Who goes there?
It is really it's a gathering place for our ministry where I bring in different leaders and also the staff that we have as a place of maybe resort and teaching and training.
Resort?
Yeah, teaching. A resort where we teach and train.
What do you mean by the word resort? Usually people think of that as...
Maybe I'm not saying it right. Let's strike that word. Maybe it's a place where they can come and be refreshed. Like, I don't know if you have ever been on Christian retreats or things like that where people can go and hear the Word of God and also relax and that kind of thing. So,
But it's not a church.
No, it's not a church.
Do people live there?
It's habitable, yes. We could live there. We could stay overnight.
Do people stay overnight and live there?
No, people stay overnight. When I have guests in, they could come in and do that. But I have my own apartment. I stay in a small apartment.
In the residential center?
No, I have my own personal apartment.
Okay, we'll get to that. But
So what I'm saying, so the residential center is used, it has bedrooms and stuff like that, so you can stay in there. But it's more so used for a retreat and a place where, people can be refreshed. Am I answering right? Am I okay? Okay.
You're confident of that address that you gave me on Timpage?
Yeah, 24,000, is that right?
You tell me.
I thought that is.
You're confident of that address, though?
I think so. I think that's right. Am I wrong? Do I need to look something up? What's the...
You're answering the question to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, thank you.
Is it possible that it's 15,400?
Oh, yes, that's right. 15,400. That is right. That's totally off. Thank you, guys. Y'all are sharp.
I'm going to show you a picture of 15,400 Timpage.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in a residential neighborhood,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and it is a home.
Yeah, but it's a residential center. That's what the ministry.
Right,
purposes.
but this is in a residential neighborhood.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
right?
Mhm. Yes,
okay.
of course. Mhm.
Is it like a subdivision with different houses up and down the street?
I don't think I would call it a subdivision, but it's other homes around it.
So it is. Does
It's
this
a residential area, yeah.
do the neighbors there know you're operating a ministry out of there?
Mm-hmm.
They got to answer yes or no.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And this is actually not listed as St. Louis. It's listed as Chesterfield.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah. I
No,
said
you-
Chesterfield, Missouri.
No, you said St.
Did you hear me
Louis.
say that?
You're being argumentative.
Yeah.
Objection. He did say Chesterfield. I have it written down.
You're
I
not
didn't
listening.
hear it.
You're not listening. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I am very careful.
Not really.
Okay, so the residential center is in Chesterfield, Missouri,
Chesterfield, yes.
and it's actually what had been used as a home by people previously. It's not an office building or.
Oh, no, it's
Okay.
not. It's not in a business center area.
Okay.
It's in a residential area, but it's remote. It is not like upon, it's spacious, so you can understand what I'm saying.
Well, it says it's 8,204 square feet.
Yes.
Okay, and you told me the owner was
Harold Lewis.
Harold Lewis, and,
Yes.
and who is Harold Lewis?
He is a sports agent for many years.
Does he reside in that house?
No.
And do you know where he lives?
Yes, but I can't give his address. I don't know that information.
What city or what state?
Oh, Lake St. Louis.
Lake St. Louis?
Yes, Lake St. Louis. That's another suburb out by Chesterfield.
So is it in Lake or St. Louis?
Maybe, what did I say?
You said Lake St. Louis, which I didn't think made sense.
Yeah, I'm probably quoting that wrong. It's an area. It's like a suburb, and there's Lake. I think it's Lake St. Louis. Lake. I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but I know it has Lake something in it.
So you're purchasing this home from Harold Lewis?
Yes, the ministry is. Not I, the ministry.
And when you say it's remote, how do people get there then?
I mean, it's not just, it's a gate. So,
Gated community?
yes, not community, the house is gated.
How many nights a year would you say that you sleep there?
Oh, I don't know, because I'm always traveling on the road.
You can
And-
approximate.
And I'm in, usually when I have guests or, I don't know, I really don't have, what are you looking for? How many, I don't have.
How many nights would you spend?
It just,
At
it
that
varies, it
residential
depends if I'm traveling or if I'm in my own apartment or, usually
can
I'm out of town
approximate.
so much.
Right, I understand.
yeah.
But still, how many nights would you spend there?
If I'm there for a week, I may spend 2 nights and just check on things. But
What do you mean,
I
just
can't really
check on
say.
things?
well, I mean, it's a residence, it's something you must check on, keep up.
Now, you said you have an apartment,
Yes,
and what's that address?
2008 Victory Way Lane,
20
2008, 2008 Victory Way Lane,
Victory,
Way Lane.
and what city?
Florissant, Missouri.
Can you spell that?
Florissant, Florissant.
How far is that from Chesterfield?
Probably 35 minutes.
Okay, and then all right, so how many nights a year do you sleep at the apartment?
I can't say. I don't know how to answer that. I really don't know how to answer that.
Just an approximation.
I can't say.
Well, how often do you go to the apartment?
I'm out of town so much, but I'm trying to think. What are you looking for?
In the last 3 months, how many times have you gone to the apartment?
Okay, now you're making sense. Okay, so we probably could say, narrowing it down like that, maybe 10.
And then in the last 3 months, how many nights transport times would there be at the residential center?
Maybe 5, something like that.
So even though it's called a residential center, you don't have people staying there continuously.
No,
There is nobody that resides there
no,
as their primary residence.
no.
And what do you pay in rent on the apartment?
900 and something. I'm not sure. It's about 9.
And does anybody else live with you there?
No. Well, my babies, my 2 children.
Your babies
Well, they-
live there?
Yeah, they, Joshua and Destiny.
Joshua, what's Joshua's full name?
Objection to relevance?
That's okay. What's his name?
Joshua, do I need to answer that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and answer, but with the understanding that this is
I
an
understand.
ongoing objection.
I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Joshua,
Caleb Taylor,
how do you spell Caleb? C.
Caleb.
And how old? What's the date of birth?
He's 15 years old.
What's that date of birth?
December the 21st, 1989.
1999, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, and your other child?
Destiny Taylor,
How do you spell that?
Destiny,
And her middle name?
Nann,
And
Taylor.
Date of birth?
January 16th. 1987. She's 17.
Okay, and then so you threw me there when you referred to them as your babies. They're actually teenagers.
I know. You know, they're always children to your father. They'll always be my.
Do you have any other
Babies.
children?
Yes. Isaiah Webster.
How do you spell that?
Isaiah.
Middle name?
I don't have that. Webster.
You don't know his middle name?
No, I don't think he has one. Yeah. Webster.
And his date of birth?
His date of birth is February 3rd, 1990. No, I'm sorry, 2000. Sorry, 2003.
Any other children?
That's it.
3? All right, when you refer to Joshua and Destiny, you say they live at your apartment?
Mhm.
You can answer yes or no.
Oh yes.
Is that full time?
No, it's joint custody with their mom,
And who's their mother?
Tabitha A. Taylor,
And where does she live?
in St. Louis.
So if you're traveling so much and you only get to these places, whatever, 10 times in 3 months, is that the primary place that you see Joshua and Destiny?
No,
Where else would you see them?
I have an apartment.
No, I'm talking about the apartment.
Hmm.
Is that where you see them?
Well, you asked about how often I go to the residential center. You didn't ask about the apartment.
No, I
So that's
asked
where
about
we really
both.
stay.
I asked
Well, no,
about
you
both.
weren't specific about the apartment directly. The time we have there. Your questions was about the residential
I asked
center.
both, and you said in about 3 months you would probably go there about 10 times, and you paid $900 a month in rent.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was asking about the residential center. No. When I'm in town, it's more than that there at the apartment where I pay $900. I thought you were speaking of the residential center. I'm sorry.
Okay, so at the
Yeah.
apartment, in a 3-month period of time, how often do you think you stay there?
I try to make it back every weekend. So, in 3 months, you would say, out of 12 weeks, you would say, maybe 12 No, maybe, I'm sorry, 11 at the most and 9 at the least if I'm really busy.
All right, so when you said 10 times in 3 months, that's kind of accurate then, isn't it?
Yeah, but I thought I was referring to that was really another amount for the residential center to check on things. Yeah.
All right, so the residential center, you also spend approximately 10 nights in a 3-month period of time?
Not really, no. I was referring to maybe going there. That's what I thought you were referring to. So.
Not sleeping there?
No, but I have slept there sometimes.
Are you the caretaker of the residential center?
Well, I'm the caretaker, but I have help. My staff helps. So I usually will have them go out there and take care of things when I'm gone. So
When you
I don't
refer
know
to
if I could say I'm the caretaker because I'm always gone. So I have a staff that really see to it.
Who's
and care
the
for it.
staff that you refer to in doing that?
It's a list of people.
Where's the key to the place kept?
With the caregiver, the person who we have look at the place.
All right, who is that person?
James Gregory.
And is he on staff
Yes.
with JMMI?
Mm-hmm.
You have to answer yes or
Yes, also. Yeah.
no. And is he volunteer or paid?
Volunteer at this time.
And he has the key in his possession.
Yes.
Who is the mother of Isaiah Webster?
Monica Webster,
Where does she live?
in Washington State.
What city?
I'm not sure now. It was Tacoma.
West Tacoma?
Yeah.
Were you married to Miss Webster?
No.
Do you have any kind of custodial relationship with Isaiah?
Yes.
And what is that?
Just, I'm his father, and I have the rights to see him and have him. So.
Okay, but what I mean by custodial
Okay.
relationship, do you have any kind of joint legal, joint
Oh, no.
physical?
No.
Nothing on paper?
Mm-mm, no.
You got to answer not.
No.
Okay, so when was the last time you saw him?
It's been a while now.
What would that be? Just approximate.
Maybe a year. Yeah.
Are there court proceedings related to this child? Paternity,
I
child
understand.
support.
Oh yeah, child support.
You
Yes.
pay child support?
Mm-hmm.
You have to answer. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes or no.
Yes, I do.
And how much do you pay in child support?
$450 a
$450
month. Yes.
a month.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the two other children?
$750.
$750 a month for Joshua and Destiny.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And were you married to their mother?
Yes.
I'm sorry. And her name was Tabitha.
Yes.
And when were you divorced?
In February of 2010.
And in what county and state?
St. Louis. All these questions necessary.
I placed a standing objection on the record.
Okay. Do I have to answer or do I still have to answer?
You have to answer the question.
I would just note that you're having a conversation with the deponent, just for the record.
I'm indicating that he has to answer the questions.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to go back on this. So when someone says to you, where is your residence, well, tell me what your answer is.
I let them know where I live.
And where would you say that is?
my apartment, 208 Victory Way Lane.
Okay, so that would be where you actually reside. Reside. Do you have a driver's license?
Yes,
And what address is on that?
2008 Victory Way Lane.
And when you refer to your babies, your two teenagers, did they live primarily with their mother? If you're traveling so much?
Well, she has them if I don't, come back like in 1 week or so. Of course, they're with her, but we have joint custody. So she has them half of the week. I have them the other half.
Except you say you travel so much that you're not really around.
Yeah, but I did tell you I try to come back like on the weekends. That's what my time is.
So do you see your children every weekend?
Mostly.
Okay. And that would be in the apartment?
Yes, or wherever we go. They've come out to the residential center too, so.
To sleep overnight?
Yeah, they have done that before.
Now, has Debbie Frazier ever been to the residential center?
Is that something I should answer, or? Yes, she has.
And when was that?
When was the last time? I think the 4th of July. No, I don't. I'm trying to remember if the 4th of July was the accurate time, because we had the staff out, so I think she was there.
And would she have swam in the pool there? Pardon me?
I'm not sure.
Are there dogs there?
Dogs?
Yeah, are there ever dogs that are at the residential center?
No.
So when Debbie Frazier goes to St. Louis, do you know where she goes or stays when she's there?
No, I don't. I don't know all of that information. I know when she has come, people from my staff, when we do crusades, they stay in a hotel. Yeah.
What do you mean when you do crusades?
Well, I do crusades all over the country, so if I carry our team to St. Louis, of course we've done that, where we have a bigger crusade than the team from Taylor and Arizona and other places come in, and they get hotels.
How many times do you have crusades in St. Louis?
Well, now with my schedule, it's only once a year now, because I can't hold them 4 times a year like I used to.
What is Deborah Frazier's relationship to JMMI?
She is, first of all, a wonderful mother. And
I'm asking about JMMI.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting there. Just hold yours. So, and she really is a worker, a very diligent worker in the ministry.
What does that mean?
Well, she helps service people, help people.
Tell me what that means.
Poor,
Tell me
feeding
what
the
that
poor.
means. Where do they feed the poor?
Well, before, of course, that the food bank moved out, she was also helping in that with our ministry.
Okay, I don't know anything about.
A food bank, you don't understand that?
No, you said before it moved out. I don't know anything about a food bank moving out.
Yeah, well, we had
out of where?
Out of our building. They wanted to get a bigger place. So, but for about,
right.
6 years, we housed a food bank.
Hold on a sec.
Okay,
Food bank moved out of your building. What building are you talking about?
Oh, Taylor.
Taylor.
Here in Taylor, yes.
So there was a food bank.
Yes.
In what building?
In the Taylor building, on Superior Road. That. But it's no longer there. But those are the kind of services she would do, where she would help. Our ministry would join with them. Like I say, I let the building out different ministries to do different multiple things. So they would
For
bring,
free?
Yes, for free.
Okay, so there was a food bank, and you're saying that Deborah Frazier worked at the food bank?
She helped some. She didn't just work all the time, but that's the kind of work that she would do.
When did the
With
food
Ellen.
bank leave?
When was that? Earlier this year. They went to try to get a bigger place, I guess.
What was it called? Food bank?
That's the name they
Yeah, yeah.
used. That's the name they used. So I don't.
They have a sign that said food bank?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Well, I mean, do you know or not know?
I just don't. I'm not really sure. All I know is that that's the common word that they would use, and they would bring gleaners in 18-wheeler truck and just feed hundreds of families.
Do you know what agency was involved in this? Who organized the
It
food
was
bank?
a ministry that was connected with us, so I don't have all that information.
Well, when somebody comes to you and says, "Can we use part of your building
Yeah,
to feed the poor?" Do you ask who they are?
of course.
Okay, and who were these folks?
They were a ministry that came in. They were more so feeding the poor.
But
doing
by
more
what
than-
name were they known?
Okay. See, I don't know. They didn't go by a name like that. I know they were established and incorporated. I could just tell you their names as individuals, but their organization, we were really covering them and supporting that and helping that.
What do you mean you were covering them?
Well,
What does that mean?
they needed a place to do that out of and a place to bring the 18-wheeler to
But
feed many
you
people.
said they were incorporated?
Hmm.
Yeah.
But their
Yes?
name, yes. But their name, I don't know their name. I don't know their official name. I just know it was a ministry team, and they were doing this work.
Okay. When Miss Frazier goes to St. Louis,
Mm-hmm.
what does she do for you or the ministry or whoever?
Well, when she goes to St. Louis, she works in the crusades. Like if I'm having a service there, she ushers.
Where would this physically be?
The crusade
Right.
at a friend of mine, a bishop's church, who has a large facility in the suburb.
In the suburb?
Hmm.
What city?
Florissant, Missouri.
Can you spell that again? F-L.
Florissant.
What's the bishop's name?
Bishop Matthew Ferguson.
And what's the name of the church?
Abundant Life Fellowship.
And do you have an address?
I really don't know it.
So the crusade goes only once a year, isn't it?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, but Debbie Frazier goes to St. Louis and works for you much more frequently than once a year.
Of course. Hmm.
Okay. So she does a crusade once a year, and when would that be?
We usually do it right after the spring, or
After the spring?
yeah.
You
You're
mean
talking
in
about the
summer?
crusade, and you're talking about the crusade in St. Louis, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So
After
would
the
that mean
spring.
summer?
Yeah, you probably say the beginning of summer.
You don't have it at the same time every year?
No, we can't. The schedule is too sporadic to do that.
Okay, and how long does it last?
About 3 days.
And what exactly would Deborah Frazier do to assist in the crusade?
She ushers. She mostly and any type of help that is needed by anybody coming in assistance, she assists them.
All right, give me an example of what that would mean.
Like if someone coming in a wheelchair or something like that, and she's helping them. She's a great parent.
A great parent?
Yes, she's a great parent
Okay,
and a great help.
what does that have to do with what she does at St. Louis?
Oh, I think her being a great parent has a lot to do with the way her character is in the ministry too.
Do you realize she has only supervised visits with her children?
Oh, I know all of that. Yes.
Okay. She talks to you about that?
Should I
You don't have
answer
to look
something
at,
like
his,
that?
at your lawyer. I'm asking you the question.
Well, I'm going to object
Yeah.
based on privilege between a priest and penitent.
Yes.
Priest?
He's got the priest-penitent privilege. He doesn't have to answer any questions specific to conversations with his members.
Exactly.
I don't think he's a priest.
It's
So are
called the
you-
priest-penitent privilege.
But
Doesn't have to
I'm-
be a priest. It can be a minister.
Do you have a cite
or
for
a
that?
rabbi. No, I don't.
I'm just going to make, again,
Does she put a
there's a
pack-
certain decorum in this deposition. I'm going to raise an objection.
Does she-
There's two things that are happening with your client. One, he's glaring. Two, he's making comments. It's inappropriate. That's unprofessional. You're the
Right.
attorney. If he wants to participate, he shouldn't be glaring, shaking his head, rolling his eyes, and making comments. He's allowed to be here. He's not. That's not appropriate.
And
for
I
him to be doing.
concur in that objection.
That's fine.
Let's take a 5-minute break. I need to use your restroom.
Go ahead. It's 4:01. Just for.
358.
Right, Mr. Taylor, I'm going to show you Exhibit 1. I'm going to ask you if this is what you have referred to as the residential center.
I see it before you answer. Yes, this is.
Okay, and you could tell me how many pages are on that exhibit?
It's 6.
And is it accurate that all those pages are pictures of the residential center?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
And what do you want?
See,
Oh, I thought you just did.
I looked at page 1.
Yeah. Is that also referred to as the ministry house?
It could be, yeah. I mean, yes.
Yes.
But we usually say professionally residential center, so
But sometimes it's referred to as the ministry house?
yes.
And is there any other place that's referred to as the ministry house?
I think there's another location where the ministry have already, I think, started buying a place, and it's a place for some of the staff where they stay. You know, where I provide a place if someone wants to do intern in the ministry, so I provide a place for
Where's
them
that?
to stay. It's in St. Louis.
And what's the address for that?
You know, I don't know. I don't have that because it's recent, so it's not.
Would you be able to provide that
Yeah, we can provide
with
that for you.
the other documents you're going to give me before your next
Of
deposition?
course, yes, exactly.
And just for the record, I would note over Mr. Jenkins' statements that we dispute that my client is glaring or doing anything inappropriate. He is looking at David Taylor, a.k.a. the prophet, I'm sorry, the apostle, because that is the person who is speaking. And he is not rolling his eyes. He is talking to me on occasion, which is perfectly acceptable for him to talk to his attorney. I would just like the record to reflect that. So back to the questions.
The record reflects that he's been making statements regularly, verbally, while he's been sitting there.
Right, to me.
While you're talking.
I hear him.
No, while you're talking.
That's
and,
fine.
And also
He has another attorney
expressions.
sitting next to
That's
him.
fine.
Okay.
I'm sitting right across from him, so
That's fine.
I'm just asking
I've
you to control.
indicated that I don't.
My request was to control your client. So
My request is that you stop unnecessarily objecting. My client has done nothing wrong. He has a lawyer sitting on each side of him, and he on occasion speaks to me or to the other attorney, and there's nothing wrong with that.
my
All right,
objections are
Mr.
no,
Taylor,
and I can still maintain.
you don't know the address of the place that is also sometimes called Ministry House?
No.
And tell me the purpose of this place?
It's a residence that we bought that or that we're in the process of buying to, that gives young aspiring preachers and ministers a place to stay while they're an intern in our ministry, being trained.
Has Deborah Frazier ever stayed there?
She's come over there.
What do you mean she's come over there?
She's visited and come over, I'm sure.
But you don't know the address?
No, it's too recent for me.
When you say it's recent, when did that start?
Maybe a year, 2. something like that. I just don't know, so.
I'm going to show you what you provided as the balance sheet and ask you to indicate where on this building is represented.
What building?
Well, you just said you're in the process of buying a ministry house. Where would it show up on the asset and liability?
Well, it wouldn't because we're leasing it right now. So it's a liability. I don't know if they put it on here.
Well, what do you mean when you're in the process of buying? Does that mean that you...
Well, yeah, we're in stages till we can buy. That's what I mean. Maybe
Okay,
I
I'm
need
not
to
sure what
rephrase
that means.
You know, before we just pay off something, we lease it until, you know, we have enough money to be able to do that. Does that
Okay.
make sense to you?
Not much.
Okay.
So is it your testimony that you are leasing this piece of property?
Yes.
And how much do you pay a month?
Actually, I don't know. My financial board knows all of those
Who's
things.
your financial board?
Those three that I gave you there.
They're your board?
No, I said financial board. That means
Right.
a certain area. They handle a certain area.
The financial board is...
It's different from the board of the JMMI.
Okay. But when you refer to them as a board,
Well, maybe I ought to rephrase that since you're tripping over that. Let's say they are financial administrators. Do that make sense?
you tell me if it makes sense.
Yes.
So do you see anything regarding this ministry house on the asset and liability sheet?
No, I don't think it would be on here because it might be. I don't see it as of now.
Can you describe this place?
It's just a residential home.
It's another house.
Yes, it's like a home, but it's.
What do you mean it's like a home?
Oh, I mean it's a home.
It is a home.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, is it at 2036 Victory Way Lane?
2036. No.
What's at 2036 Victory Lane?
I don't know. It's an address to a.
It has nothing to do with your ministry at all.
Mm-mm.
You got to answer yes or no.
No.
So you don't have any connection to 2036 Victory Lane
No.
Way.
My apartment is 2008 Victory Way Lane.
Okay.
So that sounds like another address over in that area, but that's not. I have nothing to do with that.
And that's not where the ministry house is.
No, those are condominiums. Okay. And-
Victory Lane.
yes.
So this ministry house, the JMMI has been leasing?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you the head of JMMI?
Yes.
And you don't know where this place is?
I know where it is. I just don't know the address. I don't want to give you any wrong details like I did the first time.
All right, can you
It's
give me the description of where it is?
It's in Florissant, Missouri. I know
Right.
that. Hmm.
Cross streets?
Yeah, it's a neighborhood.
What are the cross streets?
I don't know that. But like I said, I'll provide you with the information after this is over with.
Who owns this residence?
I don't know. It's some guy. I don't know him.
Did you arrange for this lease?
No.
Who
I
would
have
have
a
done that?
financial board who does those things.
Those three people you referred to with Michelle and
Yes.
the other person's
Financial
name.
administrative people.
And so you're saying but don't you have to sign the lease?
No, I'm not the only one that can sign. I have a board members who are on that can sign.
So you didn't sign this lease?
I don't even know.
Can you give me a copy of the lease?
Is that necessary?
Oh, yeah, I would object to the relevance of providing a document to a lease
Okay.
property of
Good.
JMMI. That has nothing to do with your.
Actually, it does. We've been unable, despite a court order, to get an address as to where the ministry is and
We're giving you
what the
addresses.
locations
You
do.
have
Give me addresses.
No.
You have an address.
I have one address for one thing.
10-page drive.
Right, but nobody's giving me an address for what's referred to as a ministry house, where people who are participating in the ministry go and live and are provided a residence by Mr. Taylor.
Well, we said we'll provide that. I just don't know it. So it's not a problem.
What's
so you
not a
shouldn't make a
problem?
big deal. I mean, we're going to give you the address.
Right, I'm asking for
I
a
just
copy
don't know it
of
now.
the lease.
I don't have that information on me now.
Okay. Have you ever been there?
Oh,
Let the
yes, of
record
course.
reflect another comment made objection by a comment under oath. He doesn't know the streets. That's commentary. That's not assisting you. I asked for that to
was
stop.
made to me as a
He
It was
spoke
made-
to her,
he
his
made
attorney.
He made it out loud.
Well, if you
It's not
talk,
on
it's
the
out
pulpit.
loud.
If he wants to assist you in the
Ricky's
deposition,
crazy,
that's
man.
fine. But the commentary is inappropriate. I've done depositions for years. I've never
did I.
had somebody sit and,
Yes.
and start to make
Please.
comments like this.
He is my client. I am his attorney, and so is the other person sitting on the other side, Mr. Yutuma.
The personal
so, excuse me,
commentary
don't
is
interrupt,
inappropriate.
please.
I'm
Do not
no,
interrupt.
I'm talking.
That's
and I'm
right.
making an
I was
objection.
That's right.
talking.
And I'm making an objection.
That's right.
And it's just
That's
inappropriate.
fine. We
it
dispute,
obfuscates the
Disrespectful.
deposition.
Okay.
we dispute your characterization, and fortunately it's videotaped, so we shouldn't have a problem.
I concur that it's disruptive.
That's fine. I would also note that the deponent is at the far end of the table for Mr. Yutuma, who my client is speaking to. So I don't think it's disruptive.
I can hear the comments.
Okay.
It's
The comments
disruptive
are
to me.
not facilitating questions of what you're talking about. They're commentary about what the deponent's saying.
That's fine,
That's not appropriate.
in your opinion. There's no, show me a
A
court
party,
on that.
okay,
There's
a
no court
party
order
is
for
not
that.
allowed to speak. He can attend. He's not allowed to speak at the deposition.
I don't
We don't
think
need to, this is silly.
it is.
He's making a comment that the opponent doesn't know an address that he's owned for 2 years to his attorney. That's what he's saying to me.
The deposition is being
And now
conducted
he's-
by the
he's
attorneys,
made
not by
light
the
of this
clients. Not by
on
the
video,
clients.
Which I think only hurts the opponent. But again,
Do you have an objection?
All of his work.
Do you have an objection?
No, I'm responding
Then
to
state
you.
your objection if you have one.
I have an objection to you. Well, I'm responding to you.
I've stated the objection. It's for the record.
Okay.
All right, so back to the ministry house. You don't know who you leased it from.
Like I say, I have a.
I'm just asking you, do you know who you leased it from?
Let me finish answering you. I don't. I have a vast ministry, so I don't know everything always that goes on. I know overall, but I have people who take care of those things. So, I will get that for you, so that's no problem if we can move on from that question.
All right, so this ministry house, you're saying you are providing residence for people that are in training?
Yes,
Okay.
aspiring ministers.
Is Deborah Frazier one of those people?
No, she lives here, right?
Does she ever stayed there at the ministry house? The
She's
address?
come by there. People come by and see each other, and so she don't stay there. No,
She's never spent the night there.
not that I know of.
Has she ever done any ministry work there?
I'm not sure. I couldn't say.
Who would know that?
Maybe Michelle.
Was Michelle's primary location that she works in Taylor or in St. Louis?
St. Louis.
Okay. So when she's in St. Louis, what facility does she work out of?
Actually, I would like to rephrase that. I think I would say both, because she comes back and forth up here to do in the offices to do things, but her laptop she uses at her own home.
Okay, and does she have a residence in St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're aware Debbie Frazier frequently goes to St. Louis several
Yes.
times a month?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it's several times a month.
For several days a month.
Okay.
Would that be more accurate for you?
I'm not sure. But
You
I
don't
do
know?
she comes. I know she comes to St. Louis.
How many days a month would you approximate that she goes there?
I couldn't say.
You have no idea.
I couldn't say accurately, no.
Does she see you when she goes to St. Louis?
No.
She doesn't see you?
No. If she's there, I may be out of town, or if she is there and we see each other, it's briefly. But I don't see her like that, no.
What is your understanding of the work that Deborah Frazier does when she's in St. Louis on your behalf?
Well, like I say, I have executives and administrators administrating their work and doing that, so my hands is not in everything. So I can't say.
You have no idea what Deborah Frazier does when she's in St. Louis?
I know she's a great worker, and she really
But doing
helps.
what?
I share with you what I do know, and like I said to you, if you want to know more, you have to ask my executives.
And who would that be?
Michelle Brannon is one.
Michelle is an executive and also the financial board?
No, she's not the financial board. She administrates with other financial people. So it's that financial administration, those who are surrounding that, taking care of that.
All right, I guess I don't understand. You refer to Michelle as being on a financial board?
Yeah, I rephrased that. I said administration. I think that'd be better for you to understand.
All right, so there's 3 people in the financial administration, those 3 people you listed with Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, and you also referred to Michelle as an executive?
Yeah, she's the executive in the ministry.
What does that mean?
Well, she execute all the departments and make sure everything is running smoothly overall in all the countries and the states.
So would she be the person that is supervising Deborah Frazier in her work?
Yes.
And Deborah Frazier is an unpaid
Yeah, she's
volunteer.
a volunteer staff. Mhm.
So it would be Michelle that would be able to tell me what exactly Deborah Frazier does when she's in St. Louis.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any plans to hire Deborah Frazier?
Yes, I really do.
And tell me about those.
Well, we are a growing ministry, and we're trying to establish more credibility on a massive scale with the bank for the size of the vision, with the bank for the size of the vision we have.
All right, take me back there for a minute. You're trying to establish more credibility for the bank?
Yes.
What
more,
bank?
Do I need to answer that? Or?
If you can.
Well,
Oh, yes.
obviously he knows.
Bank of America, and of course, well, that's it, right? That's all you need to know.
No, I asked you if you had any plans to hire Deborah Frazier, and your
Yes.
response was you did.
Yes, we
that
do.
you were growing and that you needed to establish credibility with the Bank of America.
Well, yeah, I was trying to say that in reference to we're establishing things and growing, and when we are at the size that we can hire more people, she would be one of the ones we would do that for.
All right, so when you say you're growing, how do you count your size? What tool do you use? What variable do you use to demonstrate your size?
With multiple variables.
Okay, you can-
Variables.
Go ahead and list them all.
Depending on what area. If you're talking about in size to the amount of people we're reaching through television and
Well, you
radio.
use that term, you want to grow. So what are you referring
Yes.
to?
Well, I mean, you asking a question that I think you're basically referring to the previous question. So you're talking about growing financially is one thing, growing in size. So it's different multiple variables.
Okay, let's
of
go
that.
through them. You go through each variable for me. When you say growing in size, what do you mean?
Well, like I say, that's multiple. Like it could be people.
Okay, let's start with people.
Yeah.
So how do you count people?
That's hard other than by television exposure, the amount of responses through that, the amount of countries we are allowed into.
What countries are you in?
Well, through media, we're in 192 countries.
Say through what?
Through media, we're in 192 countries.
Tell me what that means.
We're reaching 192 countries
How do you do that?
through a television network.
Is there a specific network you use?
Yeah, The Way TV out of California.
The Way, W-A-Y,
TV, yeah.
in
And also
California?
internet, live streaming.
How do you count how many people are doing that?
Well, they have ratings and ways you can figure out
I'm
who's,
sorry, am I hitting you?
who comes on.
You have ways to count,
Vaguely, but not quite, not fully. But we can see all the countries who are responding and all the people who are responding from different countries
and how do you see that?
through web analysis.
Is there data available?
Yeah, there should be. Yeah.
There should be. Isn't that not something you look at?
Oh, yeah, I do look at it.
So there is.
Yeah, it should be.
Should be or there is?
There is.
Okay. So what do you look at to discern how many countries are responding to you?
It's a web analysis they have.
Who's they?
There's a web analysis named Get Clicky. That's one. Another one is Stat Counter. And I don't think neither one of them is totally accurate. But
And that tells you what information?
I think they're accurate maybe 87, 89%.
With what information?
How the amount of people responding from different countries.
Okay. And what's your understanding the amount of people responding from different countries?
Well, I know it's in over 192 countries.
No, I understand, but we're talking about people, not countries. You said you could tell how many people were responding.
Oh, yeah. That's only through, you can't always gauge by just someone responding because many people can be looking and they may not ever respond. So I can't really answer that question very accurately.
You said you thought that these web counter things were 87 to 89% accurate. That's
Yeah.
pretty specific. What does that
Yeah.
mean then?
Well, I mean, one of them may show that there's lesser amount of people on, and then the other, like one may show there's 8,000 people, the other may show there's 12,000. So I think it could be broke or it's not quite accurate.
So tell me if I'm wrong. Does the whole world have 192 countries? Are there more than that exist?
I think there are a few more than that.
2, 3?
I'm sorry, what are you saying?
2 or 3 more? Isn't 192 how many
What?
there that exist? So are you saying you just stream TV programs to the whole world?
Not only that, like I said, there's a TV network that is reaching
That's what I'm
Well,
talking
too.
about.
Mhm.
So you're saying you use a TV network.
And my own personal live streaming. So
What's your personal live streaming?
It's Joshua Media Ministries.org on our website.
Say that again?
JoshuaMediaMinistries.org on our website.
Okay, and you're live streaming what?
Services.
To whom? Just on the
Anybody
internet?
who will watch.
And how many? Do you do that daily?
Not daily, no.
How often?
If I have a service in some places that is capable of live streaming like we are here in Taylor.
So you live stream out of Taylor, and where else?
Anywhere they may have T1 line or they're
Okay,
able
just
to
give me an
do it.
example of other places you have done live streaming out of.
St. Louis, if I'm in a church that has the setup for that.
Okay. Where else?
It varies. I can't tell you. It just varies. If that pastor or bishop has the setup for that.
Well, just give me an example of a pastor or bishop or a church where you've live streamed out of, other than Taylor.
Where else? It's been so many places. It's just that I let my staff handle that. So I'm trying to. I don't. Have
don't
all
you
the
go to
details.
them?
Oh, I'm there ministering, but I can't possibly do everything.
But you said there are so many places.
That we have done that.
But you can't
from
give me the-
past.
Excuse me,
trying to
let me
remember.
finish my question.
Oh.
You said there are so many places, but you can't give me the name of any bishop or church from which you have
I
live
gave you
streamed.
one in
Let me
St.
finish.
Louis.
Let me finish.
Okay.
So many places, but you can't give me the name or address of a church or a bishop that you have live streamed from?
I just gave you one, but like I said,
Which one?
I'm not the one in St. Louis. Abundant Life Fellowship.
Okay, other than that,
Okay, but like I say, I travel so much, and I don't know all the details. I have a staff to do that. If you want that later, I can give that to you.
you can give me a
So-
list of the places you have live streamed.
If that's relevant. Do you think it's relevant?
Yeah, I'm asking the question.
Okay, yeah.
You can provide.
The answer is no, I don't think it's relevant, but you can go ahead and answer the
Okay.
question because I have a standing objection.
But you're going to provide that to me then within the 30 days before the next step?
Yeah, I'll try to get some of those to you.
Okay.
Subject to my objection.
Yeah.
Now, when you live stream, you are giving speeches or whatever through the internet to an audience. Is that an accurate description?
I don't know your terminology.
Use your
Speeches-
own then.
Yeah. I think it's teaching and preaching.
Okay, and in this teaching and preaching, are you asking for money?
We do take up an offering, standard offering,
What
like
does that
every
mean, we
other
take
ministry
up?
does.
An offering. What does
Well,
that mean? You're asking
you-
for money?
Have you ever been to church?
Are you asking for money?
I'm asking you, have you ever been to church?
You don't get to ask me questions.
Well, I'm
it's a
trying
one
to
way.
see.
It doesn't work
can
that
you,
way.
You're trying to get an understanding, right? So I'm trying to give you a reference point.
I am
But if you
asking-
don't go to church, there would be no reference point, right?
I am asking
Yeah.
what it means to take up an offering. What does that mean in your terms?
Have you ever been to a Billy Graham crusade?
Sir, you don't
I'm
ask
just
me
asking.
questions. You don't get to ask me questions.
Well, I mean, are you trying to understand what I'm saying, or
I'm asking you to explain it.
that's what I'm trying to do?
Describe it to the best of your ability.
Okay, so
What does that mean?
It means to have a time where people are able to donate freely to the ministry.
And you ask them to do that. Is that accurate?
Oh yes.
Okay, and this would be when you're live streaming in Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. have you, in this live streaming, publicly indicated that you are trying to get a loan from a bank for JMMI?
Yes.
Okay. And what bank are you referring to?
Well, anyone that will have the right interest rate.
Have you made application?
Yeah.
From what banks?
I can't. I don't know. I can't give you all of them. It's been quite a few. So I have an administrative team who's doing all of that work for me behind the scenes.
Is that the administrative team with Michelle and those two other women?
Yeah, some of them and some others now.
Who signs the loan then? The loan note?
I'm sorry.
Who would sign it if you're... Who makes the application? Let's start with that. Who signs the application?
I'm sure it would be board members. Would that be... Is that understandable? Board
You
members.
don't know who signs the application for a loan?
Board members.
Are you on the board?
Yeah.
Do you sign applications for loans?
When needed. Anything when needed.
Who's on the board?
I have Michelle Brannon.
I'm sorry, say that again. Michelle Brannon.
Brannon.
Spell that
Brannon.
again. B-R...
Brannon. I gave it to you earlier.
I know, I-
B-R-A-N-N-O-N.
Yeah, you need to- yeah.
It's
B-R-A-
the same person we've been referring
Yeah,
to
you-
throughout this deposition.
you got it.
No, the way he said it, I thought he said Brennan. So it's the same person we've been talking about. I just referred to her as Michelle. I've met her
Yes.
before, but I don't know her last name off
Yes.
the top of my head. Same, the woman that was here today.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So Michelle Brannon is on the board,
Yes.
and who else?
Ashley Ware.
The
My
same
s-
woman you just
Yes.
referenced was on your financial board?
Yes. Marcia. Marcia.
Marcia who?
Her last name is slipping me.
You don't know the last name of a member of your board?
Yes, I do. Marcia Stewart.
Stewart? How do you spell that?
Steward.
And she's on your board of directors?
Yeah.
And who else?
Myself.
So there's 4 members on the board of directors. Answer yes or no.
Yes.
All right, and Michelle Brandon is a paid employee.
Yes.
Ashley Ware, is she compensated?
She's volunteer.
And Marcia Stewart.
Volunteer.
And do all 3 of those women reside in St. Louis?
Yes.
Is it possible that Marcia's last name may be McDonald?
Yes. It is McDonald.
It's not Stewart.
No.
It's not even close, is it?
Nope.
And you're saying that Marcia McDonald is a volunteer? You got to answer yes or no.
Yes.
And she's not compensated?
No. She has a job.
What's her job?
She's a fireman.
She's a what?
Fire person. Fireman.
Firefighter?
If that's how you want to call
Well,
it.
I mean, she's not a man, so I think what we refer, is it a firefighter?
It's a
It's just-
fireperson.
Yeah.
Is she talking about like a firefighter?
You can call it whatever you want it.
Well, no, I'm not going to call her anything. I'm just trying to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I've already stated that.
Employed by a city to fight
Yes.
fires. Okay. Do you know what city?
St. Louis. Amazing.
In going through the ledger, it appears that there are a lot of checks going to. Is her name? Her first name is Marcia. Or La Marcia? Which is it?
La Marcia.
Right.
Is yeah, her name is La Marcia.
So not Marcia.
No, not Marcia. No.
La Marcia?
La Marcia McDonald.
But you pronounced it Marcia.
No, I said
Objection.
Marcia.
Th-
That's
this
her
time.
nickname.
Is Marcia or Marcia?
Yeah, we don't call her by La Marcia. We call her Marcy. That's
Marcy?
what she goes by. Yeah.
Okay, so La Marcia, in looking at your ledger, it looks like there are a lot of checks that are dispersed to La Marcia McDonald.
Are you sure? Because I don't know that. I know she's able to sign checks to take care of bills and stuff like that. But for her to be getting that many checks, I don't think
Who
you're
can
reading
sign
that accurately.
checks? Who can sign checks?
Board members,
So those three women and you.
the board.
Those three women and you?
Yes, the board. That's
But that's who we're talking about. Those three women.
yes. I gave them to you.
What is safe savings? Let the roads go in.
Safe savings? Are you saying savings? Is that
Safe,
what you refer?
S-A-F-E, savings. S-A-V-I-N-G-S.
The only savings I know about is my account that I put money aside for the ministry to save finances, so we don't spend everything.
Is that something that's referred to as safe savings?
Yes, I guess if that's on there, is that on there? On
No,
the
I'm
report?
asking you if that's your terminology. Safe savings refers to
The savings account.
for, and where, what bank is that in?
It should be Bank of America. Well, we got another bank too.
What's the other one?
Clover Leaf.
Where's that?
It's a smaller bank in Illinois.
What city is that?
Illinois.
What city? That's a state.
You know what? I don't know. I really don't.
How did you end up at Cloverleaf?
Through mutual connections with the VIP
With the VIP? What does that mean?
or the VP of
What-
the bank. I'm sorry.
What's this person's name?
Honestly, I don't know his name.
Is this somebody that you have mutual connections with?
No, my board has.
Who on your board has a connection with the VP there?
Michelle.
And what do you use that bank for?
We have a secure line of credit with them.
And what's it secured by?
Will you phrase that a little bit more detailed?
You said you had a secured line of credit with that bank, and I'm
Yes.
asking you, what is it secured with?
I mean, with our own cash flow.
That's not what a secured line of credit would mean. It's usually attached to some asset.
No, it's not really. You don't have to have that to have a secure line of credit.
You have not pledged any collateral for this?
That's what I'm saying. Cash is the collateral.
And what cash are you referring to?
Ministry cash to build a relationship with the bank.
So do you deposit savings in this Cloverleaf Bank?
You know, I'm not sure. I have them taking care of a lot of things, so I don't want
Who's
to give
them?
you wrong. Like I said, my financial administration.
Right there, for example, on July 23rd, 2013, it says, I think it's La Marcia, McDonald, monthly safe savings, $3,567. What is that?
That's putting money aside from the account as money flows in to save.
But why is La Marcia McDonald's name referenced?
I don't know. She's the one that takes the money and handles that. She's on the bank card with Bank of America.
On the bank card?
Yeah, with Bank of America.
What do you mean on the bank card?
Well, you know, they give you debit cards, and they also give you, the bank gives you, if you're a signer on the account, you can, you know, you have the power to sign for checks and to do things.
So she has a debit card for the
A
ministry's...
ministry debit card.
Okay, then on August 1st, 2013, it just says La Marcia McDonald and
What are you referencing?
the ledgers you gave us.
What page?
Well, I'm doing it by date, so I said it by date.
Okay, there's a page number on the bottom.
2? It references La Marcia McDonald, $400 on August 1st, 2013. Another August 1st, 2013, $100. Then it says August 2nd, 2013, La Marcia McDonald, Destiny's Hair, $50.
I don't know what that is.
Would that be your daughter, Destiny?
That's her name, but I don't know why is that written like that.
Does the ministry pay for her hair to be done?
No. I pay for all expenses out of my own personal income. So I don't know how that's there. Is that ministry money flow or is that personal?
It says JMMI down at the
Okay,
right-hand
but
corner.
is that my personal life of income or is it
It's on the same page as...
so personal savings? So you think personal expenses. All these are personal expenses.
Well, then
This
why-
is not ministry.
Okay, on that same page that
What
I'm
page?
referencing, page 2,
Okay.
on July 23rd, 2013, it says La Marcia McDonald monthly safe savings, and you testified that was ministry.
I'm sorry, I didn't know exactly what you... Now I have it in front of me. So this...
If you look
When-
at page 2,
Yes, I understand.
and look at an entry July 23rd, 2013,
Yes.
and it says La Marcia McDonald monthly safe savings, $3,567.02.
Yes. This
That's
this
ministry, is it not?
No.
Oh, it's not ministry?
No. I thought, I'm sorry, like I said, I didn't know you were coming from this personal document. I thought it was a ministry thing.
Well,
Until
isn't
you
that
start-
ministry? You just
No,
t-
all of this is
Let
personal.
me ask you.
It's personal.
Let me ask a question.
Okay. See, I have a savings
Let me
account
ask
for the
the
ministry
question.
and one for my
Let
personal.
me ask the question, okay? I referenced July 23rd, 2013, La Marcia McDonald monthly safe savings.
Yes.
And you testified that that was money from the ministry that
Yes.
went into a savings so you could build up cash.
Yes, that was my fault. Yes.
Okay,
For-
so that is on a document that you presented as a ledger that is JMMI in the corner.
Well, let's be clear that
Yes.
the JMMI in the corner was produced by my office. The JMMI was something that we put on there to reference for our retrieval
Yeah, but
Today?
this says personal.
yesterday.
So,
So now that I know it's personal, now I can address this more accurately. I was wrong. I have a ministry account where we save money in our ministry, but I also have a personal account that any money that comes to me, I put aside a certain amount each month.
what do you mean money that comes to you?
Well, I get a salary, and for a while, my salary was bigger, $70,000 a year, but then I cut that in half to about $30,000 to $27,000.
Well, this reference for July 23rd, 2013 that says La Marcia McDonald monthly safe savings.
Yeah, she's over some of my personal affairs in taking things out and adhering to kind of some of the things I want done with my account. So that's what that means. This is not, none of this is ministry. This is all personal.
Then I don't
No.
have the ministry's ledger. He's saying this is personal.
Oh,
You-
the ministry is in the back. I can see that now.
So you're saying you personally.
These first few
Let me-
pages
sir,
are
let-
personal.
Let me ask you a question. So you're saying that this entry of safe savings that you previously identified as something for the ministry is actually your personal savings?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And when you
It's
say
personal.
when you come into money, you say you have a salary.
Well, coming to my needs.
That's the that's what a term you use. When I come into
mean-
money,
No. When I get paid a paycheck.
okay?
You understand what that means about a paycheck? A paycheck, if I get a salary that's $70,000 a year, then
What
I'm
was your
able to
salary
take
in
more.
2013?
I don't know because we made adjustments.
You don't know what you earned in
Not
2013?
fully. I know I started cutting things in half, so I want to be accurate, but I can get all of that information for you. It's proprietary, so it's
I'm
not.
sorry?
I said I can get all that information for you. It's proprietary.
Proprietary. What does
Yeah,
that have to do?
proprietary
What do you mean by
information.
that?
It's open.
That's not what that
You
word
should
means.
know. Well, it don't matter. You know what I mean.
No, no, I don't. That's what I'm
you
asking
do know what
you.
I mean. Because you defined it. So if you know what the sentence means, let's just move on. Let's not be children. That, I think that you understand what I'm trying to say.
No, I
basically,
don't, sir.
That
I do
everything
not.
is, whatever I have, you can have. It's not a problem. About my
Okay,
salary.
let's proceed with questions and answers.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if there are ministry ledgers produced or if it's just all personal.
Well, if you really, I don't think you've really had a chance to look at everything.
No, I have looked at some, but not.
I know. So I can kind of see you're a little off by this
That's what I
because these first few pages is personal,
I'm sorry?
and then down here is ministry. So it's all together, but there's a part
Can
that's
you,
personal and a part that's
Can you mark that?
ministry. So, so you see this part personal.
Do you want to see that? It's a W-2. Oh. I don't know if I care. Can you identify that document that's marked as Exhibit 2?
Yes,
And what is it?
it's a W-2.
For whom?
Me. Myself.
And your name is listed as what?
David Taylor,
And what year is that for?
2013,
And how much is the W-2?
$27K.
27,000 even?
Yes.
Okay, if I may have that. So, is it your testimony that this W-2 that you've identified accurately lists your wages from Joshua Media Ministry?
Yes.
And that's who issued this W-2?
Who issued it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Joshua Media Ministry.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So you're saying from this $27,000 salary, that reflects your salary?
Yes.
Yep, I think you probably have to
Yes.
look. Okay. That these monthly safe savings of $3,500 plus,
Is that every month?
hold on,
No.
that those savings came from your salary?
Well, it depends on the money flow. Like if my bills are lesser or higher in each month, I have more I can save. So I don't know if you're looking at $35,000 every month. Do it say every month on
Well,
there?
if you look at what I was referring to as page 2,
01.
For 2013.
Just from July on.
Okay. July 23rd, 2013, where you take out $3,567.02. And that seems like a pretty specific amount. How would that
Yes.
be arrived at?
You know, I'm because she's over that. I
Because
really
she's
don't
over
know.
that?
Yeah, she's over this part of it. I don't know. I see what's being written here, but I really need them to help answer this. You know, for
Do you have
me.
a bank statement that shows where that would have gone into?
Oh yeah, all of this.
Can you-
That's why it's.
Will you produce your bank statements that we asked pursuant to the subpoena?
Of course. That
Okay.
would be great.
Wait a second. Let's be clear. The bank statements you requested were those that reflected monies from Deborah Frazier. Are you asking for something different now?
Well, I'm not sure Mr. Taylor can explain to me if this is ministry money or his personal money. There seems to be some confusion
No,
there.
He said he
This is
can't.
personal. Well, I mean, from what it looks like, but I can't fully answer because I don't have the person who handles all my.
Can you talk to her between now and the next
I sure
deposition to
can.
kind
I can do
of refresh
that.
your
And we
memory?
can answer that for you.
Okay.
I understand why that's.
Where's it? Where are you showing? Is it the new one or This is in micro print. I'm trying to read something. Look at that page 1 of that document we were reviewing before.
Okay.
I'll just have
Which deck?
all of this marked so we're clear. This is proposed deposition exhibit 3. It is part of what you handed me as the ledger,
Okay.
and page numbers 1 through 11 that go from July 1, 2013 to November 8th, 2014. And do you see what I'm referring to? It starts with beginning balance of July 1st, 2013, and it says $1,496.42. Are you looking at that same document?
What page would you say?
The top
No.
page.
Okay. And where?
I'm just trying to
Up here?
identify that we're all looking at
Okay.
the same thing.
Yes, okay.
And it says $1,496.42.
Yes. Mhm.
All right. This is Joshua Ministries, isn't it?
No, this is personal.
It's personal?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is personal, and sorry, I may have to take a moment. If you give me a second, this is very small print.
Yeah.
All right, look at July 15, 2013. It says
Okay.
JMMI DES : payroll, and then it lists your name, and it says $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next page on date July 31st. Let me see. There's a $5,000 line that says JMMI salary. Do you see that?
Where's that? One more time.
July 31st
Okay,
on
yeah, I see
page
that.
2.
Mm-hmm.
JMMI salary, $5,000.
Right. Mm-hmm.
August 15th.
Okay, I've got to place the same objection on the record that Mr. Jenkins placed earlier. This is clearly your client is in part conducting this deposition, and this is not appropriate.
He's
It's the
directing
same.
me, I'm going to give you an explanation. He's directing me to the micro print that is very difficult to read of the documents
He's
that you gave me
whispering
well
the
after.
questions in your
excuse me.
ear and
no,
you're
he's telling me
asking the
that
questions.
No,
I can
that's not
hear him.
accurate.
Your client-
He's showing me what
I
line.
can hear him.
I'll place the same objection. He's
That's fine.
directing the deposition. He's directing the questions. He's conducting the inquiry. That's your job. not
August
his.
15th, 2013, the line says Joshua Media Ministry, same thing, DES, I don't know what that means, payroll, David Taylor, and it's another $5,000. Just circle it. Just circle it, I'll go through it. $5,000 for payroll.
Okay.
Now, would you acknowledge that's a payroll payment to you?
Yeah, but some of this, the way they have this factored in here, is I get housing allowance under the ministerial thing.
Under the ministerial thing. I don't know what
Yes.
that means.
Yeah. You have to study like church law, tax law, that kind of stuff. But the thing is, at one time they were just giving me the total payroll check of 5,000, I think, every semi-weekly, and I was paying out of that my all the expenses
So you acknowledge that
instead of it just going instead of the
let me ask
ministry
you a
paying.
question.
Yep.
you were receiving $5,000 in salary checks, it looks like twice a month. Is that yes?
Yes.
And as your compensation for Joshua Media Ministries, is that accurate?
Yes.
And yet in that same year, your W-2 shows, what was it, $27,000?
Yes.
Do you see a discrepancy between?
No.
Objection to the form of the question. He's answering the question to the best of his ability, but he's not a CPA.
I didn't finish the question.
Do you see a discrepancy? Question
I didn't
mark.
finish it. No, you interrupted me.
Okay.
I didn't finish
Finish the
my
question
sentence.
and wait for me.
Okay.
Do you believe that the W-2 is consistent with this ledger that shows you were paid $5,000 twice a month?
Objection calls for speculation. He's not an accountant. He already testified. He's not the financial person. This is the MMI way of accounting. If you have specific questions for the financial team or the CPA, then you can contact them and schedule a deposition. He's answering to the best of his ability.
Okay, he can still answer the question. This is your personal ledger. Is that right, sir?
Yeah, but I'm
Okay.
not.
No,
I'm not
sir.
the
I'm
one
just
who does
asking
it.
you.
Yeah.
Is it your personal ledger?
It is.
Reflecting your finances?
Yes.
That you provided pursuant to the subpoena, pursuant to this deposition and the court
course.
order?
Yes.
Okay, and you're now saying you don't, understand why it lists $5,000 twice a month?
Because I don't handle the finances.
You don't handle your own finances?
I really don't. I have people who do that for me.
So when you get a salary check, you have no idea anything about it?
I know I've set up a team that does it for me. And so some of these questions I just can't answer because of the way they have it flowing here. I can't.
So will you present Michelle Brannon for deposition so that she can answer these questions more accurately?
What do you feel?
Well, you're the lawyer. If you want to subpoena her for a
I'm
deposition,
asking if he's willing to produce her.
What do you feel?
if you properly subpoena her and serve her with a notice.
So you're not going
she
to
will-
produce her voluntarily?
Oh.
That's the question. You're going to produce her voluntarily so
We
that
can
she can
discuss
answer
this
these
off the
questions?
record.
Do you mark this, please? What are we up to? 4? Okay. That's it. I'm going to show you it's marked as deposition exhibit number 4, which is the 990 form from the Department of Treasury for for the return of an organization exempt from income tax, which your attorney presented to me today. Can you identify that? Well,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Can you identify
So
that
990?
as the return for JMMI?
Yes.
All right, and it's right there. On page 11 of this tax return, can you read line 1 across, please?
Yes.
You want this?
100.
No, read what it says across the whole line.
Oh, David E. Taylor, CEO.
Okay, and then what's the next?
$40, right? Or 40, yeah, $40.
That's okay. Read what's above it, and then what?
Oh, okay. All right. Average hours per week. List any hours for related organizations below dotted line.
And what does it say below that?
40 hours or 40.
Okay, representing or referring to 40 hours.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, and what's the next block?
Position. Do not check more than one box unless person is both an officer and a director trustee.
And what's listed below that?
Individual trustee or director, officer, key employee.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What I want you to do is to indicate where it's marked by an X as being applicable to you.
Okay. Yeah, so X in individual trustee or director, key employee, and highest compensated employee.
Okay, and then under subdivision D, tell me what that says and what's reported for you.
Reportable compensation for the organization, $118,916.
So JMMI Ministries reported your income on their tax return as $119,000.
I can't answer accurately about this, but I do know that all of this is not just personal income. It's allowances that go to other things. So they were at first giving me money, but we were paying all what the ministry was supposed to pay under that code of ministry standards. So I think our CPAs taught them a more accurate way to do it, and so I think there was some kind of change. So I don't know. I can't accurately speak, but I think you would need to talk to my financial board because all of this is accurately written down. So
I thought you just said that there were changes and it doesn't really reflect it.
no, there were changes, but I can't tell you all those things. So it would be better for you to try to better just
Well,
get that.
you're the CEO of the ministry.
Yes, I am.
Who signs the tax return?
Well, the tax returns.
Right,
What tax returns?
that tax return. Who signs it? Do you sign it as CEO?
I think that I do. I'm not quite sure about all of that.
You don't know if you sign a tax return?
No, the only tax return I know I sign is my personal.
So who would sign the JMMI tax return?
I mean, obviously it would probably be the board member or myself, but I can't remember doing it. I think that someone on the board does it.
Who would
Because
that be?
the board, well, I don't know. I can't tell you. We have more than one board person.
All right, so you're saying that you don't think that one's accurate then because it reports 119,000 and that you think they redid it.
I didn't say it was not accurate. I just said I can't give you accurate information, and instead of in front of this deposition trying to explain something I don't know, I'd rather to just let you know I don't know because I have other people doing this for me. So the way they may be doing this may be, it's all legitimate, but the way they have it set up is the way they are doing it the best of their ability. So
It's not clear if these are the tax returns that were actually submitted based on his testimony. So I need to be able to ask him if these tax returns were, who they were signed by, and if they were actually submitted, because his testimony would seem to be that some of this was corrected and none of it are signed, and he can't tell me who signed it. So I have no idea if it's the tax return or a draft. So can we get a tax return that he will be able to state under oath is the tax return that was filed?
He or somebody in his organization, yes.
Okay, so I'll be able to get, well, I'm sure he can, as the CEO.
Again, this is a deposition where you ask the deponent questions. If you want to have discussions about...
No, I'm asking you on the
Going
record,
forward.
because the documents that you presented,
I'm not going to commit to anything on the record. We can discuss this off the record, and I will get you what is reasonably required.
okay, this was provided by court order and subpoena that I was to get it. And the problem is, his testimony is indicating that he can't substantiate.
It was
I'm going to finish my
provided by-
sentence.
it was
I am
provided
going to
by
finish
other
my
people.
sentence before you interrupt.
It was provided
I-
by other people at JMMI. not
That's
Pastor
fine.
David.
So I am asking him, in compliance with the court order and the subpoena, and you as his attorney, will you provide me with a tax return that should have been provided today that he can attest is the actual one that was submitted? Can you do that?
And I'm telling you, we will provide you with a document. This is probably the one that was, most likely the one that was filed.
Well,
He doesn't have personal knowledge of it.
Well, he can
All
get
that
it.
means is that you have the wrong deponent.
No, it does not, because he was asked as CEO of JMMI to produce these documents pursuant to court order. And the court order says he is to bring them. And he can't tell me that he brought the right stuff. So I'm asking you, are you going to give me the right information?
Okay. We'll have this discussion off the record.
No, I want to have it now. I want to know. I don't want to have to file
I'm
a
not your
motion
deponent.
and have you.
We'll have this discussion off
You're
the
his,
record.
you're his attorney. Are you going to provide me what was supposed to be provided pursuant to the subpoena? Yes or
Do you
no?
want
It's
to
real
continue
simple.
asking the deponent questions, or are you going to ask me questions?
Yeah, I want an answer to that one. Are you saying you won't tell me that whether or not you'll provide it?
I'm telling
Is
you.
that
we
just
can
yes or no?
we
Are you
can
telling me you're
discuss
not gonna
off
do
the
it?
record. No, I didn't say that.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go there. Excuse me, my throat's giving out. Yeah, the exhibits I need back.
okay.
That's mine.
Oh, this. Okay.
This way. I think that's ours if I wrote on it. Can I see?
No,
No,
that's
that's mine.
yours.
There you go. Okay.
He and I was in front of him.
Oh, this is yours here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope, I think they're duplicates. All right, so what is your salary at JMMI now?
From what I know, I
From what you know?
yeah, I think it's around 27 to 30,000, something like that.
And what expenses are you saying that JMMI pays on your behalf?
Well, it's the expenses under the law for clergy.
So what are they?
I don't know. You have to go research that. I
No,
can't tell you.
No.
I don't know everything.
There is no research I can do that'll tell me what JMMI is paying for you.
Well, what I'm saying is we abide by those laws, so that's where it would be. So
Oh, no, it's, sir,
I'm just saying I can't tell you. I don't know.
you have no idea what expenses JMMI
I know a
pays for you.
housing allowance. I
How
know
much is that?
I'm not sure. Don't know.
What other allowance?
There's, I don't want to misstate, so I don't know. I'd rather for someone who's professional to tell you about that.
Well, no, I'm asking about your personal, not in theory. What
But
some,
you're asking
no,
about
sir,
ministry
let me finish.
stuff.
Let me finish.
I'm answering you.
No, don't interrupt. Let me finish the question.
Okay.
I'm asking what personal allowances JMM Ministry provides you, or stipends for housing or automobile or whatever. What do they provide you?
You know, I know there are many allowances, but one that I can say is housing allowance. But in order for you to get the accurate names for what they allow, you have to talk to a professional. Because I don't want to give you misinformation.
No, I'm not asking in theory what is possible. I'm asking what actually JMMI provides to you.
Objection. Asked and
I
answered,
can't
and he
ask
said he
you.
doesn't
It's,
know.
don't know.
it's non-responsive.
I just don't know. I'm just telling you the
Okay,
truth.
well, that's an answer, but that's not what you told me before. Do you know if they
That's
pay
not
any
true.
of your auto expenses?
Yes, the cars are in the ministry's name. They all belong to the ministry.
What
So
cars are
that
those?
is not. I pay for my own car.
What's
out of
your
my
car?
own Range Rover.
And is that leased, owned?
It's leased. I mean, it's not leased, but it's. I bought it to pay it off in 5 years.
Okay, so it's subject to a lien, but you purchased it.
I'm sorry, Aline.
You owe on it,
Yes, of
okay,
course.
but you did not lease it.
No.
And is that what you drive in St. Louis?
Yes.
Who drives the Bentley?
My driver.
Who's your driver?
I have a number of drivers. So you would say James or Cliff, and they're responsible for picking up our guests in those cars that fly in for meetings and things like that.
And the same thing with the 2007 Mercedes-Benz,
Yes,
2008 BMW?
yes.
Are those owned outright or subject to any kind of loan?
They're owned.
Outright? There's no loan on those.
No.
Okay. When you come to Michigan, do you generally fly here?
Yes.
And who picks you up from the airport?
It varies, different staff. So it could be anyone.
Could be a volunteer.
Yeah.
Has Mrs. Frazier ever picked you up from the airport?
No.
Have you ever been driven around in Mrs. Frazier's car when you've been in Michigan?
No, I rent a car when I'm here.
You've never been driven around in Mrs. Frazier's car?
I don't think I have, not that I can recall. I usually rent my own vehicles here, or have my own vehicles driven up here
From where?
from Missouri.
For the weekend?
No, I mean, I may stay here 7 days or maybe 14 days, but because it's so much wear and tear, I just rent a car while I'm up here. Or the ministry provides a rental car for me, like we have now.
You've been seen being driven around in Mrs. Frazier's car that is identified as her car with her license plate.
Really?
Objection. Is this, and is this a question?
Yeah.
He interrupted me, and so did the two of you.
There's no question.
I didn't finish
I
the
don't-
sentence. You've been seen being driven around
Really?
in Mrs. Frazier's car with her license plate,
Okay.
specifically in Taylor. You arrived in that car
Okay.
at one of your events there. Do you not recall that?
Foundation argumentable.
Go ahead.
I don't. I mean, I thought it was a rental car because we rent cars all the time, rent SUVs. So it probably could have been our car. I don't know. I don't know all the details that go on when they pick me up, in what car or what. I'm just. That's not something I detail.
So you don't know whose car it is that you're being driven in?
Objection asked and answered. Now you're being argumentative. He
You
answered
don't-
the question and said he didn't know.
You don't know what person's car you're being driven in.
Asked
We have
and
room.
answered.
That's fine, but you can still answer.
Rental cars. That's what we get. Rental SUVs. Rental. Most of the time. I mean, when I'm up here, all the time actually, from what I know. So if I was driven in a car, I wasn't paying attention to that. It wasn't like, oh, this is her car, because we have our own rental things here.
Have you ever been to Debbie Frazier's residence?
No,
Do you know where she lives?
no.
Do you know if any members of your staff or your flock, as it's been referred to today, do you know if any of them have been to Mrs. Frazier's residence?
Yes.
And who was there?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Somebody used flock today.
Not on the record.
No.
It doesn't matter. That was the term that was used.
Well, not that I heard.
No, I heard it. I took note of that. All right, so you know that there have been other staff or flock members.
They fellowship with each other, yeah.
Okay, so tell me what you know about that.
That's all I know, that they just know each other.
Okay, what do you know about that?
That's all I know. That
What,
they
what
just
do you know?
fellowship.
Tell me what does that mean?
That
Fellowship
they,
with
like
each
a
other.
normal person, meet up and they go out to eat, or like with the staff. I mean, that's all I know.
Well, I was talking about Mrs. Frazier's house, and you said you were aware that staff members or
Have visited and been there, yes.
okay, have they spent the night to your knowledge?
I think they have. I mean, from what I've known, they have spent the night, but I don't know the extent. You know, I'm not into all that.
Has
business.
Michelle spent the night there?
Not that I know of. She used to stay in a hotel, from what I know.
When she comes to Michigan?
Hmm.
You have to answer yes or no.
Yes. Yes.
And you're saying you've never gone to Mrs. Frazier's residence?
No, I don't know where she stays.
Okay. Do you know who from the fellowship, or, these fellowship gatherings, who specifically has gone there?
No, I can't say. I really can't.
You don't know any of the names of the people that have been
I
in
will-
fellowship with her at her house?
I think more my staff would know that information. I just know I've heard that people have. So
What's your understanding of how many people would go there to her house?
maybe one. What,
Pardon me?
maybe one or two. From
One
what
or
I know,
two?
have visited.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Maybe
what-
one or two have visited, or some.
Do you know how many occasions?
No.
Objection.
know.
He's asked and answered these questions. He
I
doesn't
don't know.
No, he hasn't answered them.
I don't know.
He has no personal.
Do you know if anybody from your ministry who volunteer, paid, board, flock members, whoever, any of those folks have ever spent the night at Mrs. Frazier's residence?
Not that I know. I don't know anybody personally. I mean, my staff would know more about that.
So you just don't have knowledge of that?
No, I've never been to her house. I don't make it my business to go to places like that. Be involved personally.
What is your educational background?
High school diploma, bachelor's degree.
Hold on, let's-
Associate's bachelor.
Okay, high school from where?
Southside High School in Memphis, Tennessee.
Southside High
High.
School, Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes. Hmm.
Is that where you grew up?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. And next,
And Johnson and Wales University, Culinary Arts.
hold on,
Johnson
Johnson.
and Wales University, Culinary Arts.
Where was that?
In South Carolina, a
Yep.
remote base.
And what year was that?
1992. Yeah, 92.
Were you?
Yeah, from 91 till 90, from 90 to 92.
That's
And
when you
then-
went to school there?
Yeah. Hmm.
Did you receive any kind of degree, certificate? What would
Yeah.
it be?
Associate's degree in culinary arts.
And did you work in that capacity
Yes.
anywhere? And where
Mhm.
did you work?
Just different restaurants as a chef, as a cook.
And how long did you work in that capacity?
For about, well, started before school, so before I graduated. So from the time I was 16 till to 92, 91, something like that.
I thought you said you got your degree there in 92. So
I
you didn't
did.
work anymore in that industry after you got your degree?
Well, maybe a little, but that's when I went full-time ministry, when I was 19 years old.
And where did you go for full-time ministry?
Nowhere. I didn't go to school for full-time ministry. I just started doing ministry full-time.
Okay, what does that mean you started doing ministry? Tell me what that means.
Well, I mean, full-time means you give up your career to serve the Lord and to preach the gospel around the world.
And okay, we go off the record first. Continuing with questions. Who is Zoya? I'm not sure if it's Garcia or Garrica.
There was someone who worked for the ministry at one time,
Somebody who what?
worked voluntarily for the ministry.
Is she still volunteer?
No.
From what time frame did she?
11 till the beginning of this year or something like that. Or the
2014?
end of last year or something, yeah.
Okay. Do you have a child with her?
No,
No child with her?
no,
Did you have a relationship with her that was physical, sexual?
no.
Objection, relevance.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
You had no physical or sexual relationship with her?
Well, that's prejudice as well.
No.
Pardon me?
What did you say?
I can't hear him because I keep
I
hearing.
said no.
Okay.
Because you keep hearing objections.
Yeah.
But he keeps talking, so I can't hear
So when I
both.
place an objection on the
So
record,
don't
stop
say no.
talking.
Okay.
Do you pay child support to a Diana Dean or Diana, she might go by two different names, Kershane, if I'm pronouncing it right, Courchaine?
No.
Objection, relevance, prejudice.
No?
No.
Someone by the last name of Dorsey, Ildico, Dorsey, do you know that person?
Yes.
And who is that?
She worked in the ministry years ago.
What time frame would you say?
In 1997 to 2003, something like that.
Okay, did she buy you a Mercedes-Benz?
Same objection.
Objection, relevance.
Okay. Did she buy you? You can still answer. Did you buy it? Did she
Okay.
buy you?
Go ahead and answer.
No.
Do you have a child with her?
Same objection.
No.
Have you ever had a physical or sexual relationship with her?
Objection.
Same objection.
Okay, that's fine.
Relevance, prejudice.
What is the point of all these questions?
I mean,
I know.
I can tell you later.
It's harassment.
No, it's not.
abuse of process.
Have you ever had a physical or sexual relationship with Debbie Frazier?
Objection.
Objection.
Can I answer?
Sure.
Of course not. It's so horrible. So horrible.
You refer to seeing Jesus face to face. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and what does that mean?
Same objection.
What do I do?
Answer.
Yep.
I'd love to answer that one. Well, I mean, he appeared to me in a dream like he's done people in the Bible, and he changed my life.
And when was that?
When I was 17 years old.
Okay. And has he appeared since?
Yes.
And when would that be?
I can't tell you. It's just been different years, times.
Can you give me an approximation of how many times you've seen Jesus face to face?
It's just been, what do I need to answer that?
Same objection.
Yeah.
You can still answer.
What do I need to? Or
Yeah.
just not?
Answer.
Well, it's just been more than once or twice, 3 times. It's been multiple times.
Okay, just as an approximation. If you said this started when you were 17,
Yeah, I just rather not answer by numbers because I don't know, actually.
you don't know how many times you've seen Jesus.
I can't
You don't keep
put an
track?
exact count.
Did you write a book about this?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and did you say in the book that you had seen him 1,000 times?
No, I actually said I've seen him over 1,000 times
Over
in
a
a 20-year period.
Okay,
So
so
I don't
when you were
have a
saying
count.
once or twice, it's really more like over 1,000 times?
In the book, yes.
You said
I've
that in the
said
book. Okay, but is that true?
It is true.
Your position is you have seen Jesus face to face over 1,000 times.
Yes.
Okay, what does it mean to see him face to face? That's a term you use, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, like you and I are seeing each other face to face right now. It's an appearance. The Bible calls it an appearance.
So he physically appeared to you? You have to answer out loud.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you said when you were 17 he appeared in a dream.
Yes.
You were asleep?
Yes.
Okay, so are you counting that as a face-to-face appearance?
Yes. That's what the Bible calls it.
Well, but you referred to you and I sitting here and that was face-to-face. So I'm kind of confused by your answer if you mean while sleeping you may have had a dream about Jesus, or if actually you're saying that like you and I are here, you've seen him face-to-face.
Well, the Bible records he does it in both ways.
No,
in
I'm
the
asking
dream.
you.
That's
your
what I'm telling
experience.
you. That's what I'm telling you.
I'm just asking your experience.
I'm telling you, I will not give you an answer if you cut me off. Now, I'm telling you that he's appeared to me in a dream. The Bible is clear that he can do it in a dream, or like he did to Paul, physically on the road to Damascus, and I've had both.
Okay. How many times did you say it was in a dream?
Many times.
Many times in a dream?
Yeah. Should I answer? Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a standing objection to relevance. can
You
go
know,
back
I
and-
take it you're going to object to everything, so I just note that. You don't have to.
No, I'm objecting to relevance of prejudice on this line of question.
Right.
All right, so the face-to-face where you have physically had Jesus appear to you, not in a dreamlike state,
Right.
but physically,
Right.
when was the last time that happened?
Same with you.
Should I?
Yes. Best of your
Um,
ability.
I think the last physical time was in 2011 or 2010, where I was fasting and praying in the church.
And where was that?
Oh, it was in a church
Right, where is that?
up north,
Up
in
north?
Port Huron.
In what church?
A church called New Covenant.
And who was there with you?
No one was there.
You
I
by
was there
yourself?
by myself. Yes.
And what time of day or evening was it?
It was more toward the evening.
And you were in a church by yourself?
Yes.
Were you giving crusades or anything there?
No.
Why were you there?
Just praying and fasting.
How did you end up in Port Huron?
Well, I have relationships up there with churches, and that church is very close in our organization.
So explain to me what happened on that occasion.
Same objection.
Do I need to?
Over the objection, you have to answer the question to the best of your ability.
Okay. Well, he just appeared to me like he did Paul on the road to Damascus and told me what he wanted me to do.
So he physically appeared to you like your attorney sitting across from you, a physical embodiment of Jesus.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and you are liking yourself like to Paul the Apostle?
Not liking myself. No, I just saying those experiences happen.
But you keep representing or referencing.
I'm trying to give you a reference point so you can understand what I'm saying.
Tell me what specifically in the Bible refers to Jesus appearing face to face in a dream.
Paul had night visions. Although he saw the Lord physically, he also talked about how the Lord appeared to him at night in a dream in Acts. Solomon had an appearance
But
from the Lord.
can you give me a site for it, like where in the Bible, not just the story, but
I'm
exactly where it is?
Yeah, Solomon in 1 Kings 3 and 5 had a dream appearance from the Lord. Well, that wasn't Jesus, that was God. Came to him in a dream and appeared to him and asked him what he told him to ask what he wanted, and he asked for wisdom, which is a very known story. And that was in the dream, and he awoke, and he became the wisest man in the world from an appearance in a dream.
Okay, any other sites you can give me about dreamlike states that are
Abraham.
he's visited in?
Abraham.
That was a
appeared-
dream?
Yeah, he appeared to Abraham in a dream.
Objection to relevance. What is this a test?
And this is-
I know your objection.
No, but I'm going to state objection too. This is
That's
you,
fine.
you are asking about a man's personal faith,
Yes.
and his personal religion in a case that is started out as a parenting time issue and suspension of parenting time. To me, this is an abusive process.
And
Okay.
It's
he's
clearly an
party.
abusive process. It's designed to utilize for an improper purpose a deposition, and if there's ever a case of where somebody is crossing the line and utilizing the litigation process for ulterior motives, this is what's going on right now.
Are you testifying or objecting?
I'm objecting, and I'm stating it on the record.
Long
Do
objection.
you have an appearance in this file?
I do not.
Okay,
I referenced what I was in the beginning.
I understand that.
All right,
But
so
you're not a
back to
party
the
and you don't have an
let's be
appearance.
productive.
Asking if you're making, like you asked,
You're-
if you're making an objection.
Let's
Your
be
attendance
productive.
here is a courtesy.
It's not.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're not permitted on the record.
Well,
Thank you.
I want to use the
I'm not-
time productively, and that was a pretty long-winded objection that went on beyond an objection. So let's go back. So you're saying Abraham saw Jesus face to face, but it was a dream.
He saw, he had a visitation from God in a dream, and
Not
he
Jesus.
saw Jesus face to face in the physical.
Okay, and what is the biblical site for that?
It's in Genesis. I can't give you the exact chapter, but it was the chapter right before Sodom and Gomorrah.
Is your ministry biblically based?
Yeah. Of course. I'm quoting scriptures showing you.
Not exactly.
I am.
Those
You
aren't
just don't
quotes.
know the scriptures. If you knew the scriptures, you would know what I'm saying is in the Bible is true. You don't know them.
You don't know what I know.
You couldn't. You would tell
You
me
don't
where they
know
are.
what I know.
You
It's
couldn't.
not for me to testify, it's for you.
Okay, it's fine.
How many times would you say in the last year, in the year 2011, did you only see him the one time in up north, Port Huron?
Same objection.
Do I need to?
Asked and answered. He said the last time he saw him was in 2010 in Port Huron at New Covenant Church in Port Huron while he was fasting and praying.
This is just,
That
was
was
a
the last
foundational
physical
question.
appearance.
So that's the last time you saw him. What was the time before that you saw him?
Same objection. Relevance.
Same objection.
Do I need to
Gentlemen, it's
ask?
just interrupting. I understand you're going to object
Do I
to
need to
every
ask?
single thing I ask, so let's just keep the flow going because we
Because
want
the
to get out of
probative
here.
value is substantially outweighed by the prejudicial effect.
That's fine.
And the
I
court
get it,
said-
you're going to object to everything for every reason you can think of. Let's just keep this
No,
going.
we haven't been objecting until
When,
now.
no, there's a standing objection, which is fine.
I have a standing objection.
Right. So, when did you see Jesus face to face before the Port Huron place?
For 2010, 207.
And where was that?
What do you mean? What's
Where did you see Jesus?
or your city or?
Right.
I was asleep in a dream.
So there was a dream,
Mhm.
and where were you sleeping?
In St. Louis.
At your
Mhm.
okay. And what was that experience like?
Well, he just basically appeared to me to share with me something that he wanted me to say
I know.
to somebody.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
He basically appeared to me to share what he wanted me to say to somebody.
Oh, okay, can you tell me what that is?
It's private. It's priestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
check.
not priestly when you have a dream. That's
It
not.
is
There's no.
priestly. You
There's
don't
no
know the
privilege on that.
You don't know the word.
There's
Yeah.
a privilege on priests being required and called to testify about
Exactly.
what they say to parishioners.
Exactly.
In a dream.
No, he said.
I asked what he said in a dream.
This is real. I'm going to reinforce.
I
this
can't
objection.
say
I mean,
that.
this-
That's
It's
fine.
Glad there's a
proprietary.
record.
It's not proprietary.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'm asking you what Jesus said to you in the dream.
I can't tell you. It's for a person that I.
You don't
know,
have
it's
to tell
private.
me. You don't have to name the person or name by a
No,
first name and no other
It's
name.
private. I just. It's under,
Private between who?
under oath. I'm a priest, so I can't do
You're
that.
a priest.
Yes.
Okay, let's get.
Objection, he's claiming the privilege
There is
between
a privilege.
clergy and parishioner.
You're
Yes.
objecting to his term of calling himself a priest.
He's
Well, are you
What are you
referring to a
objecting
to?
Catholic
Clergy.
priest? Because I'm not
What
referring
are
to
you
not a
Catholic.
referring
Catholic. He's
to?
not a Catholic priest, but he's clergy.
The Bible says we're
He's
kings
a
and
gentleman.
I
There's a
priests.
cannot
privilege.
get everything. I
I don't
can't.
blame you.
He's a minister.
Oh, well,
Yes.
let's go back to the culinary school. What educational endeavors did you have after the culinary school?
Say that again.
What other educational endeavors have you had since culinary school, which I think you said was in 99 through 92? Where else did you go to school?
Nowhere. I've just been full time.
So you have not had any theological training at all?
Oh, I have.
Okay, so did you go to
But
school somewhere?
Not to a university for that. I sat under other pastors and leaders.
Did you go to any certified
No,
school,
no,
seminary,
no,
theological institution?
no.
So you have no credentials that are
Right.
recognized.
Oh, I have credentials that are recognized.
Let me finish. No credentials that are recognized that say you're a priest, which is what you said you were.
Not a Catholic priest.
I didn't
Not-
say Catholic, and neither did you. You said you
Yes.
referred to yourself as a priest.
Well, that's what the Bible called ministers of the New Testament. We're a priest. You couldn't. You know that because you don't read the Bible. You don't understand. Or don't understand
Can
it.
you please have your...
We'll proceed with questions and answers.
Okay.
So you have no certificate saying that you're a minister?
Yes.
What certificate?
I was licensed in my teenage years in the Baptist church and also in the Church of God in Christ. So I do have license and also have a doctorate of divinity given to me by Life University, which is a very prestigious theological seminary.
A
Because of
doctorate of...
big-
hold on, let me see. A doctorate of divinity by
Life
Life...
University.
And where is Life University?
It's in Texas.
And did you attend that school?
No.
So
I got
is
an
it
honorary doctorate.
honorary? Okay.
Yeah, from my years of experience. In
All right.
ministry.
So you never attended Life University.
No.
Okay. And you can't tell me any other theological institution, seminary, or the like that you've received a degree from?
Neither can Peter or the other apostles. But anyway, no.
What?
No.
Neither did what?
Neither can Peter or the other apostles. They didn't
Oh.
go to theological school either. But,
But
I'm just saying.
we're talking about those back when Christ was...
Yes, because
Oh.
Paul went, so there was theological schools back then, but Christ didn't necessarily take his apostles through that kind of
When did you start calling
process.
yourself the apostle?
Oh, I don't think it's the apostle. I don't say the apostle like you're trying to make it sound. It's just an office like a pastor.
It's an
Or
office?
evangelist, like a pastor, evangelist. Do you read the Bible? I mean,
Do you want to correct him on
I'm
his
asking
interrogation of me?
because I mean, You can't understand me if you don't have any point of reference.
So you're saying that there is an office that's referred to as the or as
Have you ever
an
heard
apostle?
of a pastor? Are you familiar with pastor? Because an apostle is a pastor. I'm trying to answer
Could you
your question.
please?
Just proceed with questions
Okay.
and answers.
Okay.
And I'm going to object to the form of your question. It's argumentative.
Yes.
He's trying to explain that an apostle is similar to pastors, similar to ministers, similar to
I think you're
priests.
testifying, but that would be. Let me get it from your client.
Well, you've asked him several times and
You
you're not
keep
getting
cutting
it.
me off. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't
Okay.
study, you can't. know.
Apostle.
Just answer the
Okay.
question. And now we're relying on the internet for your questioning.
Does the Life University from which you got your honorary doctorate, does it still exist?
Yeah.
What year did you get this honorary doctorate?
Actually, they just presented it to me this year.
2014?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a copy of that?
I can get a copy if that's what you need.
And you're sure it's called Life University?
I could be off on the few names.
The place that gave you an honorary doctorate, you can't recall the name?
Yeah, that's human error. Human error.
All right, so you refer to yourself with what kinds of titles besides apostle?
Evangelist. I mean, we can just drop the apostle, just evangelist or pastor. It's fine.
And what a pastor usually refers to a church that you over which you're a pastor. Where would that be?
Well, I mean, I shepherd leaders and other pastors, so I train them.
But if you look up pastor, it refers to being a pastor over a church, a specific place.
Yes, so I would be more of a bishop, or that's what an apostle is, over churches,
So you're a
mentoring
bishop?
other leaders, yes.
Over other leaders. Who made you a bishop?
Well, first of all, God did.
So that's through God. That's not through any religious organization.
Yes, I have many organizations that acknowledge me as that, so
No. Usually, when somebody is a bishop,
they go through a ceremony, I know.
there's a ceremony. There's a specific church or religion or denomination.
Yes,
Do any of those apply to you?
yes.
Okay. What denomination?
Church of God in Christ.
Church of God
In Christ.
and where is that?
I mean, it's the biggest Pentecostal black movement, black Pentecostal.
And they're saying,
Church.
and you're saying they made you a bishop?
No, they acknowledge me as a bishop.
Okay, I'm not talking about who acknowledges you as a bishop.
Okay.
I'm talking about, is there anything other than you decided to call yourself a bishop that made you a bishop?
Other than, the Lord commissioning me to do what I'm doing, then
Okay, so you and the Lord applied the name bishop to you, but you don't have any other recognized.
well, I would rather
Let me
not
finish.
use bishop.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you
would
said that's
rather,
what I should use.
I go by more of Apostle Taylor, so.
I thought you said drop the apostle. Now
Well,
you're
so
confusing
you
me.
can understand, I'm trying to simplify things for you,
Not really.
but you don't.
But you decided to call yourself apostle.
No, I didn't.
Who did?
The Lord did.
Okay. When did he say you should be the apostle?
The apostle, it's not like that. It's almost like you're saying, the pastor, or it's not a "the" in the front of it. It's just an office that denotes a work.
An office?
That denotes a work. Like a pastor, the work of a pastor, the work of an evangelist.
Do you know
denotes a work.
anybody else that refers to themselves as apostle?
Yeah.
Who?
Thousands of people around.
Thousands?
Yeah, thousands of ministers around the globe who go by that title.
Name one.
Apostle John Eckhart.
And where is
He's
he
one.
from?
In Chicago. There's so many of them.
There's so many, and they just decide to kind of anoint themselves as apostle.
Objection.
No,
You're
that's
being
not how it is.
argumentative.
No,
and,
no, I'm not.
you
I'm trying to
know,
figure this
It's time
out.
to wrap this up anyway because
I just think she don't understand. She don't know.
You know,
she probably-
can we,
Okay.
that needs to stop, okay? Like now.
well, it is because I think
Objection,
you're.
No.
because he explained
It
that it was
needs
the
to
pastor.
stop with him making
Then you need to stop
commentary
arguing
about
with the
me.
opponent.
No. Please.
Okay, are we wrapping this up because
No, I
we
think we can
agreed?
go a few more minutes.
Well, we agreed that we would
I'm
wrap
not
up in
gonna-
time for me to
Absolutely.
be where I need to be.
At 7.
At 7 o'clock, and I
And
need to
that's
stop
not-
by my office on the way, which is just around the corner.
I'm not going to prevent you from doing what you have to do at 7.
Well, that means I need to leave now at 6 o'clock.
That's not what you told me before, today.
That's not what I told you before.
That's what he said in
It
court.
said 6:30. I'm not going to keep you to 6:30, but
Well, I
I
can't make it to 14 and Mound and stop by my office.
didn't know
by
anything about your
6:30.
stopping at your office. That wasn't any
Okay.
part of any equation that I had.
So for the
Um,
record, I heard him say 6 or
Not to me, and not in
Yeah,
court.
I did to you in court this morning.
Let me ask you,
All right, are we wrapping this up or
a
not?
couple minutes. Has Deborah Frazier ever given you any cash?
No.
She's never handed you dollar bills in any form.
No.
Has she handed you a check?
No.
Never given you a check?
No. Everything goes into offering or like she's wired, but my hands don't touch the money.
So, okay. Did you ever tell Debbie Frazier that Jesus appeared to you and told you that Debbie should be giving you money?
No.
Did you ever reference your face-to-face appearances with Jesus or your conversations with Jesus to tell Debbie that she needed to donate money in
No.
your offerings?
No, I've never done that to anyone.
You've never had a conversation with Debbie Frazier about her gifting?
No.
None.
No.
Do you know how much she's given you?
Yes.
How
I'm
much is it?
aware. I think it's $1 million, or a little over $1 million.
And you never had any conversation with a $1 million donor?
Other than she gave it, and I was appreciative that she had such a generous heart.
So you did have a conversation with her about it?
Yeah, I thought she was referring to before. You were
Okay.
saying before. The way you were talking was before.
Okay, so you can clarify it.
Yeah, so, after I found out she gave that, I wanted to thank her for her generous gift, just like others have given like that.
And where was it that this conversation occurred?
At the church,
What-
where everybody else is
What
at.
church are you talking about?
Taylor.
So you had a conversation with Debbie at the Taylor Church, thanking her for giving you money?
Yes. For giving the ministry money, not me. Not me.
Has Debbie ever shared with you any of her visions that she has claimed to have?
Objection.
foundation.
Well, not only that, but it's privileged.
Okay.
He's not a pastor. He has no credentials as a pastor. He's self-anointed. That does not come under any priest, penitent, or pastor privilege.
All right.
I just,
Privilege.
For the record, a
It's not
pastor,
privilege.
there are different religious affiliations, and to claim the privilege does not require a particular credential.
That's right.
It requires that you're a minister or you're serving an evangelist.
Exactly.
It does not.
Well,
It does.
my objection's no.
That's fine. You can still answer.
No, he can't. This is privilege. You
Okay.
don't answer that question.
Thank you.
You're going to say it's privileged, all
Yes.
his conversations with Debbie Frazier, because he's a pastor that he is
I'm a
that
priest.
he is anointed
That
himself as?
particular question, yes.
What particular question?
You want to repeat the question?
You don't know what I asked him if Debbie had talked to him about her visions.
Yes. And I objected based on privilege. And I stand
And
by
what
that
is your
objection.
and your privilege is
He's a pastor. He's speaking to his parishioner.
Exactly.
his parishioner? Debbie is
Member?
his parishioner?
Parishioner, member, yes. You have the objection. He's been instructed.
I don't see any credentials that he's been able to provide me in this deposition that he is an actual pastor. He's never been to any theological school, no
And
certification.
now you're
or
arguing
anything.
with me. I've
I
already
am.
instructed the client.
Okay, then I'll probably have to take that one to the court.
Okay.
We convene January 9th at 10.
Correct.
Yes. Good meeting you.
Brief deposition for today. We are going off the record.